Good morning, Raptor Freaks. Lexiot's here. It's Friday. TGIF, baby. Yeah, thank God it's Friday. Yeah. Raptors are in Charlotte for one of these quickly scheduled games. The second one, Charlotte Hornets. Let's get right into it. The injury report for tonight is simple. The Charlotte Hornets have one injury. Well, the major injury is LaMelo. We know LaMelo is out for the year. He's not even listed on their depth chart anymore or even on their injury list because it's just known that LaMelo Ball is out for the season. He's not playing. So they will not have LaMelo Ball tonight, which is a very big deal, seeing he's their best player. And he's the one that kind of leads this team in all kinds of different ways. Mark Williams, their starting center is questionable. He has a back injury, and it's listed him as questionable for today's game against the Raptors. Mark Williams. Otherwise, they look pretty healthy, but they look pretty underwhelming. Like, I'm looking at the names on this list, and I'm like, wow, Charlotte is something else, and we should be able to beat them. I'll come back and look at their lineup in a second. First, injuries for us, just Koloko and Noel listed. Koloko, of course, putting up shots in practice this week and looking like he is on some sort of path to be coming back to us. And, of course, I don't know what's going on with Noel. I don't even know what his injury is, and he's just kind of been on the injury list for the last month. So hopefully he gets better quickly. All right, Charlotte Hornets are a strange team. I think that they're not that good. I mean, they're 6-13. They've lost 4 out of their last 5. Some of their wins have been quality wins. They've actually beaten the Celtics this year, and some interesting kind of other games that they played. Their lineup is basically as follows right now: Terry Rozier at starting point guard, Brandon Miller, the rookie, playing at shooting guard. He's actually played pretty well for them. Gordon Hayward is back, and he's healthy, so he plays small forward. Of course, the much maligned and maybe shouldn't be playing in the league, Miles Bridges, is back and playing at power forward. Their center is probably going to be Nick Richards or PJ Washington. And then on the bench, they got old veteran Ish Smith, Bryce McGowan's, JT Thor, Theo Malden, James Bouknight, Nick Smith Jr., and Leaky Black. That is kind of their bench right now. So it really is. This is a game. If I'm looking at their roster and our roster, and I said that we were more talented than Miami Heat on Wednesday, well, we're damn for sure more talented than the Charlotte Hornets team. And we ain't got no business losing to them. No business at all, Raptors. In fact, I'm going to raise the alarm if y'all lose to the Hornets tonight. Tomorrow on my stream tomorrow, but hopefully that does not happen. Hopefully we just get a clean victory, a good looking victory, and y'all play well, and then there's no issues, because man, this could be a real dumpster fire if they manage to lose the Hornets somehow, some way tonight. This is going to be really bad in Raptors Nation, trust me. It's going to be really bad. So Raptors, you really must win this game tonight. I know it's not a must-win game, but it really kind of is a must-win game. So let's not screw around and mess with Raptors Nation, because seriously, they're going to go off crazy if y'all lose tonight. They're going to go crazy, and I don't know if I can handle it. All right, let's do the refs. We really don't have a good ref crew chief. The other 2 refs are okay, but overall, this ref crew is eh. I don't like the crew chief. It's kind of crazy what the crew chief's record is for the 2 teams, considering the excellence of the Raptors in the last 10 years and just how shit the Charlotte Hornets have been. Courtney Kirkland has a very strange record for this. Courtney Kirkland is our crew chief tonight. 25 seasons in the NBA out of Flint, Michigan. His favorite TV show is Billions, and his favorite movie is The Matrix. His favorite book is Total Money Makeover, and his favorite app is the NBA app. Now, Courtney Kirkland has officiating experience, which includes 2 seasons in the WNBA and 3 seasons in the Continental Basketball Association. That's the CBA, y'all. That's way back. Working the finals from both leagues. He was a high school official for 4 years in Louisiana. Courtney is not our friend, guys. I'm going to say this. Courtney Kirkland is really bad splits on this game for us as the crew chief. I don't think he's coming in to do a ref hit job, but I will tell you this. He's predisposed not to favor the Raptors. This is so crazy. I can't believe that he actually favors statistically the Charlotte Hornets. This is shit. This is really crazy. We win 44% of the time when Courtney Kirkland's around, which is not good. It's worse than Scott Foster, just so you know. And then the Hornets win 50% of their games with Kirkland. So it's 44-50 favoring the Charlotte Hornets with the crew chief Courtney Kirkland tonight. So that's not a good start with the ref report. Let's just say that. That's not a good start with the ref report. The second ref is the lawyer. 15th season out of Hamilton, Ohio. It's Brent Bernecki. He's from the University of Central Florida. His favorite TV show is Ozark. His favorite movie is For the Love of the Game. He likes to chill to some Chris Botti. His favorite meal is chicken parmesan. So we need some chicken parmesan. Courtney Kirkland don't eat no food. He's a robot, just so y'all know. FaceTime is his favorite app. He most like to visit Italy and scuba dive at the Great Barrier Reef. Brent Bernecki considers his most memorable NBA assignment to be a game between the Los Angeles Lakers and the Minnesota Timberwolves on December 14th, 2014, when Kobe Bryant passed Michael Jordan on the all-time scoring list. Of course, as I just said, Brent Bernecki earned a Juris Doctorate from Nova Southern University Shepherd Broad College of Law. That's a very long title in Florida. He has experience as a civil trial lawyer. So there you go, Bernecki, the second ref, the lawyer. Now he's the middle ref as far as like he does favor us, which is right because Charlotte sucks, and none of these refs should be favoring the Charlotte Hornets like Courtney Kirkland. The real red flag. Bernecki, we win 48%, so even then we're just above the franchise winning percentage for the Raptors with Bernecki. He's right above our 48%, 48.1% franchise record for our winning. He's 48.4%. And then the Hornets, they win 38.5% under him. So the split is 48-39 for the Raptors with the lawyer, Brent Bernecki. The third ref is a dubious ref before, but he's gotten a lot better for us in the last year or so. He was a pretty bad ref 2 years ago, but now he's a little bit better. In his fourth season, it's Brandon Schwab from Orlando, Florida. He went to University of Central Florida also. So we got a couple of Central Florida grads here. Favorite TV show is The Community. His favorite movie is The Matrix. His favorite book is Man Searching for Meaning. His favorite meal is penne and curry and mango with sticky rice. He'd most like to visit Machu Picchu. And his favorite app is Apple Podcasts. Schwab, the Florida native, officiated 5 years in the NBA G League and 4 years at the collegiate level, working in the Sunshine State and Sun conferences. Yeah, Schwab is interesting. We actually won the last game that Brandon Schwab refereed for us, and he has a 56% winning percentage with the Raptors. He really did have a big rise last year. He was a bad ref for us, but we won a lot of games with Brandon Schwab involved last year, and that really improved his percentage in his very young 5-year career. So, yeah, the Charlotte Hornets win a very reasonable 27% of their games when he's there. That seems like that's more accurate for what these refs should have for win percentage for them, other than you, Courtney Kirkland, who's given them 50%. So the split with Brandon Schwab, the third ref, is 56-27. Brandon Schwab, the third ref, definitely our favorite ref tonight. So, yeah, there's the ref crew. It's a mixed bag. I think they're going to be pretty fair. If we play very well, we just kick ass, we should just win. And Courtney Kirkland should not be a factor, but he could be. He could be. So Raptors, you can't keep this game close in any kind of way at the end of the game because we do not want Courtney deciding anything for us tonight. And if you keep it close to the end, he could make some sort of fucked up call that will help the Hornets beat us somehow, some way. We do not want that. So get a good sizable lead and blow them out just to be safe, because Courtney Kirkland is not your friend. Let me just tell you that. Courtney Kirkland is not our friend tonight. I'll say it again. All right, let's get into the chat this morning. There's your ref report and latest lineup news about the teams. Yeah, I'm not really scared of their lineup. They have a weird team. And, there's some weird, like, redemption story kind of things, not from Miles Bridges, but yeah, he was out of the league and he's trying to make his career come back. You got Gordon Hayward, who's had injury problems like crazy. He's coming back to play against the Raptors again. Well, last time we played him, he stepped on Gary Trent's foot and got hurt for a long time again. So he may have some get back. He wants to get back against Toronto, because there is a game where we played against him in Charlotte where he got hurt for quite a long time. He may remember that. So we need to watch out for Hayward in particular, shooting threes and trying to do particular stuff. Of course, Terry Rozier, Scary Terry, always a threat in certain ways. And we're going to get our first look at Brandon Miller, lottery pick. So we'll see. We'll see how this team is. It's young. It's coached by Steve Clifford. So, yeah, we need to beat it. We need to beat this team. Trevor J is first in. The Trevor J Cup is whittled down to 2 final people that can win the Trevor J Cup. And that is the Indiana Pacers winning last night against the Milwaukee Bucks. Edmund, Race Mode Daily, you still have a chance to win this. One of 2 people. And then the Lakers blowing out the Pelicans in a major way. So Kenrick, Chronic Art James, tattoo artist here in downtown Toronto, can still win this also. And we're going to find out tomorrow night in the finals of the in-season tournament, the first ever in-season tournament. And there was a really funny tweet yesterday about the in-season tournament by someone. They said, you think that the in-season tournament sounds really generic and goofy? Well, just wait until they get a sponsor. And what if it's Progressive Insurance and it's the Progressive in-season tournament? You will be pissed. P-I-S-T. I thought that was so funny. I'm like, you'll be pissed. So we'll find out tomorrow. Of course, if Adam Silver is right in this, we know who this is going to go to. Kenrick, because they want LeBron to win this and have an accolade and add to his crazy career accolades to be the first ever in-season tournament winner. Of course they want LeBron to win this. So Kenrick, you are the favorite to get this. And possibly when you win it, or Edmund, I'm going to come meet y'all somewhere in Toronto at your pick, and I'll bring this to you. We'll take a picture of me awarding the Trevor J Cup. And in some ways, I'm kind of happy that the 2 finalists are who they are, because they're both in the Toronto community, and I don't have to mail this. I can actually go and meet them and give it to them in person. So we'll see who wins tomorrow. The in-season tournament wrapping up in the final game in Vegas with the Lakers versus the Pacers. This is going to be fun. This tournament has been a big success and a lot of fun. In some ways, people are really excited that it has launched the Tyrese Halliburton into superstardom. Nobody knew who he was because they hid him because he's on a small market on NBA programming, and now everybody knows who he is. And they said that that's a success for the in-season tournament, making a new superstar in the league like that. So, hey, I don't mind that. That's great. It's great. Yeah, all right, let's see what y'all are saying this morning. Trevor J saying, good morning, Raptors family. Happy game day. Tyrese, LeBron for the in-season tournament trophy cup. Lakers embarrassed the Pelicans. Game was over in the 3rd quarter. Who is going to win the Trevor J Cup? That's right, Trevor. We'll have to see. And thank you once again, Trevor, for commissioning this great competition that's fun, and sending me this trophy and letting me tout it for like a couple months and wave it around on this TV screen like, woo, in-season tournament trophy, the Trevor J Cup, baby. That's right. We got prizes on this channel. Who's going to win it, Trevor? I don't know. I think that Kenrick is the favorite. Let's just put it that way. Isaac saying, insert Tom Duke emoticon. Happy birthday. Yes, that's right, y'all. Today is the birthday of West Coast Raptor Freak president and associate producer of this YouTube channel, Tom Duke, over in Victoria, British Columbia. Happy birthday, Tommy. We miss you. I know you're on vacation, taking some time away from the channel for a bit. Hopefully you'll be back at some point. We love you, Tom. That's the most important thing. We're Raptor Freak family, bro. And when you come back, we'll be so happy to see you back again. But yeah, happy birthday to Tom on his birthday. And let's hope that the Raptors take care of business on Tommy's birthday and give him a nice big win to smile on. Yeah, I love that. What a lovely person. And Raptors Freak, you're exactly right. Isaac Campbell getting to spend time with Tom recently on their trips to Toronto when we went to the game. So yeah, thanks for bringing up Tom's birthday on the stream. And of course, we want to wish Tom Duke the biggest, happiest birthday today. We love you, Tom. Just know that, man. We love you. And you do what you need to do. And when you can come back at some point, even just a visit, we love you, bro. We'll be so happy to see you. Jimmy Pope saying LA versus Indy. Who y'all got? I'm going with Indy, but you can never count out LeBron. Well, Jimmy, we know what Adam Silver wants. We know what he wants. He wants to write that script. And boy, wouldn't it look great? They could put that name at the beginning of the list for the in-season tournament winners, LeBron James and the Los Angeles Lakers. Of course, Lakers Nation wants the first prestige of the first in-season tournament cup. That's why I really do want Tyrese and the Pacers and Rick Carlisle to spoil that shit Beat them, Pacers, beat them, because that'll make everybody in a lot of places that I want to be unhappy. So you go, Pacers. I'm hoping the Pacers will win, Jimmy, but I don't know if the script will allow it. We'll see. Trevor J saying life is better for you how you make it. For those who are around you, so be grateful and not to be ungrateful. Words of wisdom from Trevor J is saying it's like, look, you can make your life what it is. Go out there and shape it and make the decisions in your life that can change it for the better and make it better and better for you. If you have those kind of powers and you have the ability to perceive what those changes are and you can make them realistically, do that, because you know it's life's short and you want to make those changes while you still can. Cool Cat's here. Good morning, Raptor Free crew. Charlotte is not a cakewalk. They have some vets and they can shoot the threes. Is this another year that LaMelo is out? Yeah, LaMelo's out right now, apparently, is what I've heard. I like that you're saying we shouldn't take them lightly. In some ways, it's like, look, this is a kind of a team that you kind of like can overlook and kind of like, no, we can't do that. There's one thing about the Raptors right now is they got to take everything very seriously. They got to come to the game with the right effort and attitude coming in and show up as the best version of themselves night in and night out. And just because Charlotte may be perceived as an easier opponent than most of the NBA teams in the league, they can't act like that. They really do need to approach this game very similar to how they handled the Detroit Pistons on a Sunday in the last month or so. So, yeah, I agree with this, Cool Cat. And I heard you saying this earlier this week already, that we shouldn't just expect Charlotte to be easy and to just beat them, that they are dangerous in certain ways. Of course, without Ball, they're a little less dangerous, but maybe they aren't because he's careless of the ball. I don't know. We'll have to see. And Courtney Kirkland, you better be fair tonight. If you do any kind of weird shit, I'm watching you. I'm watching you, refs. I'm always watching y'all. Raptors super fan Monique Lawrence, the greatest, is in the house. Good morning, Raptor Freak family, and happy game day. Should be an easy W. It's Hornets. See, Monique has the other opposite than Cool Cat, saying this should be easy W. Well, I'm in some ways, I'm listening to the warnings of Cool Cat, and we can't take this lightly, Monique. In some ways, I really wish this would be a cakewalk and this should be easy, but it's probably not going to be. And these guys need to get the shit together. There's been a lot of talk in the practice interviews this week about consistency and having the right energy coming in and night out in the game. You know, Otto was asked in an interview yesterday, straight up, what's the problem with the first quarter and the third quarter energy coming into the game and at halftime? And he's saying, well, I think that we just need to take this more seriously and be more aggressive coming out the gates, have a bit of more energy like that. And that's him directly as a vet on this team, kind of saying something to the starters about when you come in the game, you need to bring that aggressive energy and force your will on the game immediately. That this is something that we want to see from Jakob, Pascal, Scotty, those guys, and OG. You know, we want to see you guys force your will on the game. And Dennis, we want to see you facilitate to help Jakob and Scotty and Pascal get going offensively early, right away. In some ways, that's the duty that's more important. And you shoot if you have to, just because that is what dictates in that situation. But otherwise, you should be looking to get the ball to Siakam, Barnes, and Anunoby, and your Pirtle to an extent too. All right, let's see what's going on. Cool Cat saying our win depends on our bench. Laugh out loud. Yeah. Now, I put Malachi in the picture for the stream today because I feel like today is the kind of game that possibly Malachi could have a big game and show us something that in good faith that he is developing and getting better and better. This is a good opponent for you, Malachi, to kind of come out and show us a little bit more. Give us a little more. Do a little more. Make some more points. You know, whatever you can do, Malachi, to build good faith with me and the rest of the Raptors Nation. That would be lovely tonight against Charlotte Hornets. So let's see you do something tonight, Malachi. I'm watching you in particular, but of course the rest of the guys too. Chris Boucher, Precious Achua. Would love to see some good stuff from you. And the rotational player, Otto Porter Jr., who basically said this. It's like they asked him, you know, why are you not playing all the time? Are you still being babied by the Raptors because of your injury? And he said, yes, my injury is an ongoing thing. So his toe injury is still an ongoing problem. And he said that the issue with it, he'll never be 100% ever again, that he has to manage his injury from last year, and that it is still an issue that has to be managed day to day. So he said that straight up, he will not be playing back to backs. So if there's 2 games in a row, he won't appear in both of them, but he is going to be a part of the regular rotation for the most part otherwise. So just a little bit more news on Otto Porter and his role off the bench at this point. You know, in some ways, he'd be very helpful today against the Charlotte Hornets team that's younger, using his veteran guile to outfox them. So let's hope that he does that. Callie Mayer saying, good morning, back from Florida. Sure, hoping for a win tonight. Good morning, Raptor Freak, Callie Mayer. Glad to hear that you're back safely from your trip to Florida. And, you know, I hope your stress meter is nice tonight. It is Charlotte. So hopefully you can have a really nice time. Maybe it's a wire-to-wire lead for the Raptors from the beginning of the game right away, right on up to the final buzzer. No issues whatsoever. Kylie does not even break a sweat. No problems at all. She didn't even look at the swear jar tonight. I would love that. I would love that so much for you, Callie. And I'm glad you're back, and I hope you had a fantastic vacation down in Florida. Infamous is saying, salute, freaks. I have to be honest. This is not a guaranteed win. On a side note, Paige from the Raptors 905 was draining threes last night. All right, let's go to that next. Yeah, Infamous bringing up the 905 game. And once again, very much respecting our opponent tonight. And not overlooking them as possibly being too easy. All right, Raptors 905. Let's do our 3 stars and a breakdown of the game. Yes, Jayshawn Page, the #1 star of the game for the Raptors 905 last night. He was killing it from 3. He was really, really the only one trying to carry us near the end of the game because we were really kind of running out of gas. Once again, the Raptors 905 are so injured right now. Makur was not available for this game, so we added him to the list of Muhammad Ugi, Ron Harper Jr., Justice Winslow, Omari Moore, Marquise Noel, Javon Freeman Liberty, Daryl Morsell, Jalen Morris, all out. All out. So what did the 905 have to do yesterday? They had to call up 3 replacement players, brand new guys. They have never played with the team, just to fill out the 8 to play yesterday. They didn't have enough players, so they had to go get guys that come in and just play for the night. And they had the 5 regular guys start and the 3 replacement players as their only bench guys. And it was very interesting. Jayshawn Page, 38 minutes, 36 points. The points per minute by Jayshawn Page, fantastic. 13 of 26 from the field, so he shot 50%. 7 of 13 from the three-point line. The 7 threes were badass. He was shooting a lot. In some ways, I wish that they were letting Grady shoot as much as Jayshawn Page, but that, alas, did not happen. Jayshawn Page wanted to be shooting it himself. 2 for 2 at the free throw line, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 turnovers, a -7 with 36 points. He was the only one cooking late to even get them close. It was a really weird game. They played pretty good with them for the first half. They actually had the lead at the end of the first quarter. And then something crazy happened in the second quarter where they just allowed the Long Island Nets to explode with scoring, where they scored 43 points on the 905 in the second frame of the quarters yesterday. And that was really bad. That just hurt them for the rest of the game and made a margin that they could never make up. They got close and they get tied, but then Long Island Nets would push ahead. It was fun in the stream in there because I was in there with Blackhawk and G. And we were having Raptor Freak family live stream during the game with the comments in there. And it was fun to interact with those guys and watch the game with them yesterday. Very, very fun. The second star of the 905 game for me was Kevin O'Banner. This is the same as the game before against Westchester. These 2 guys were the best players in New York these last 2 games. O'Banner is really interesting player. He has a lot more in his bag than I realized. He actually has some post moves. He had a double-double yesterday, 25 points, 10 rebounds, 10 of 19 shooting. You can't get mad at that. 10 of 19 shooting, 2 of 9 from the three-point line, 2 of 4 from the free throw line, 2 assists, 2 steals, 1 turnover, 5 fouls, -9. 25 points in 37 minutes. Kevin O'Banner, you look like you got a lot of promise, man. And I'm excited. I'm excited to see possibilities because I see you could probably make the league. You've got a lot of good tools. In some ways, like I said earlier this week, you're better than Justin Champagny. You are. You're better than Champagny. You got way more going for you. All right, and then the last star, my 3rd star of the game is Kobe Simmons. Kobe played efficient enough for me to include him this time. Usually he doesn't shoot very well, but he shot okay yesterday. 8 of 19 from the field. In 41 minutes, he got 22 points, 2 of 5 from three, 2 of 3 from the free throw line, 6 rebounds, 7 assists, 1 steal, 1 block, 3 turnovers, minus 10. Yeah, Kobe Simmons is a try hard, as I said in this stream yesterday. It's really that this guy is trying real hard, and he gets in there and he fights. Very, very scrappy player, Kobe Simmons. So he was putting up some points for us. So yeah, those are our 3 stars of the game. They all were the ones that got 20 points or above. Grady had a weird game. He was not that efficient. It wasn't as good as his last game for them. 4 for 14 with 14 points in 38 minutes, 2 of 8 at the free point line. He got both his free throws, three rebounds, 5 assists, 1 turnover, 3 fouls, minus 23. So Grady had the worst plus minus on the Raptors 905 yesterday. I could not include him in the top 3 stars. So not a horrible game, because he did have moments where he looked really good. But once again, it's just, I don't know. In some ways, he's still finding his way. It's so good that he's on the 905 right now. Let's just put it that way. This learning that he's getting from this time down there is really, really good. So it'd be interesting to see if these guys are actually traveling to Charlotte, and that Grady actually left New York yesterday and went to Charlotte and reconvened with the regular Raptors. Maybe not. I don't know. They're so hurt on Raptors 905. They kind of really need Grady down there because they just don't have bodies. They called up Isaac Johnson, Fletcher, and McGowan's. We had Isaac Johnson from before when we called up the last time this season already. And Fletcher, I think he's kind of I was telling the guys, it's like, I think he played for 905 before. I kind of remember him, but maybe it isn't the same Fletcher. He was pretty good off the bench. Fletcher was 3 for 4, 2 of 3 from 3, 3 rebounds, 1 steal, 2 turnovers, 10 points in 21 minutes, a +1. So he was the best replacement player out of there. And then I'll note Miles Burns. He was pretty good as a Raptors draft pick. Kind of okay. He had a lot of energy. He had some real hustle, and he has hops. 9 rebounds, 3 of them offensive, 1 steal, 1 assist, 3 steals, 8 points in 30 minutes. Yeah, could have done way better. But there's your Raptors 905 report from their loss to the Long Island Nets yesterday. Now they're 1-10 now. They're 1-10, the Raptors 905 for the season. It sucks. Eric Curry doing a couple of challenges yesterday in the game and winning both of them. He's a challenge champion, and he looked so proud when he won those challenges. I was like, there's the moral victory for you, Eric Curry. You can win challenges. He won 2 of them. Yeah, that's pretty good. All right, there's your 905 report. Monique is saying, wake me up when we fire Eric Curry. Yeah, I'm with you on this. I mean, it's not going to happen, though. I don't think we're going to fire him. I think he's going to ride through this whole entire season. It'd be interesting if they fired him after the Showcase Cup as part of the season, and they went into regular season and said, yeah, we're going to bring in a different coach. They probably won't do that, though. They're going to just see him through and let him have his 2 years. But after that, Monique, will Eric Curry ever head coach again? Probably not. I'm going to tell you that right now. Eric Curry probably will not after that. David's laughing about this. Fiercey's here. Good to see Fiercey Salsera, a great Raptor freak, and also Scotty Barnes, Twitch family 2022. That's right. Good morning, fam, and happy Friday. Tonight, I hope the Raps play with intensity and focus. Yes. In some ways, the problems with our guys aren't injuries. The problems with our guys isn't like not being as good as the other team. The problem is preparing themselves mentally and coming in the game with the right attitude, with the right focus, and coming with the right energy and bringing it. And in some ways, there's something a little weird about our guys not totally bringing it when they show up to games. Let's bring it, guys. Just like The Rock says, just bring it. So let's just bring it tonight, please. Jimmy's saying, even if we win this, it won't make me feel any better, being honest. Problems need to be fixed. Well, how about this, Jimmy? What if they show stuff tonight that makes you feel better, like some of the problems being fixed? I don't know. We could see this. They're shooting better free throws now. We were complaining about that 2 weeks ago, and now they are shooting more consistent, better free throw percentage. So everything's a work in progress, and we can just look at the different parameters of what they get measured by and see if they're improving. And a lot of what they want to improve right now is not having defensive lapses because of missed shots. This is something they talked about in the last couple of days. The Darko's sick of these guys not doing things on defense just because they missed a shot. Whatever happens, just do defense. Do what you're supposed to do on defense and stop getting out of your head if you miss a shot because you're holding your head or you're down or something like that. We can't afford to do that, Raptors. You can't afford to do that, whether it's holding your head because you didn't make the shot and you're sad or you're complaining to the refs because they didn't call a foul. We can't afford either of that kind of shit. So let's see, like we say in AA, progress, not perfection. And I hope they can get a perfect game at some point. But if we see progress happening, will that be enough? And I know a lot of people, it's kind of a trap game because we hear Cool Cat saying, don't take them lightly. And in some ways, people are saying, well, if you lose the Hornets, that's a disaster. So this is a very dangerous game in some ways. And the Raptors need to just win. I'm just saying that. Y'all just need to win for all kinds of people's sanity. Seriously. Oh my gosh, your own sanity. Kareem's saying, honestly, we need to go 5-0 or even 4-1 over the next 5 games and build some type of momentum because after that, the Raps will be tested and could have a huge downward spiral. Well, we don't want to project that. The rest of December is kind of mixed bag. With we play Denver, we play a couple of teams that are tough, but we do have easier teams also. So if we can even out our record by New Year's, or maybe even get above 500, that would be awesome. That would be really, really good. Because then in January, we go on this crazy Western trip almost immediately in the new year. And we're going to have to play a lot of Western Conference teams in their home court. I like this in some ways. I'm not afraid of West Coast trips anymore. In fact, I like when the Raptors go out on West Coast trips ever since they did that one West Coast trip where they won all their games and then the whole world stopped and there was a pandemic. I feel like when they go on a West Coast trip, the team just gets together right. They're road warriors. And in some ways, they do better out West against those Western teams when the rest aren't trying to manipulate for playoff implications. Well, we might be able to collect some good wins on the Western road trip in January. That, so far when we play the Western Conference, we're playing them better than Eastern Conference right now. So in some ways, I'm very much looking forward to the trip out West in January because it may not be as scary as you think. We may win more of the games out West than we lose because for some reason we're playing the West really well this year. And some ways we play better on the road in some ways. So hopefully that is what's happening. I want to project good things and not the album name of Trent Reznor 9 Inch Nails album. We ain't talking about the downward spiral. No, I'm sorry. Fiercely saying at Jimmy Pope, I'm rooting for Indy. I hate the Lakers. I'm with you, Fiercely. I'm with you on that. It's not that I hate them. I mean, I have liked the Lakers at different times in my life. It's just I don't like how they're doted on, how they're favored, how there's a really kind of just a gross spoiledness to them. They're like the kid in your class that's spoiled, that had all the G.I. Joes, all the Star Wars, all the He-Man. They had everything. That's who they are in the NBA. They're like that. They're just spoiled rotten as a fan nation in the history of the history of the NBA. So yeah, Jimmy's saying I'm always optimistic, but I've just been getting annoyed lately. They better handle business and please start that climb. Yeah, that's all we can hope for. We hope these guys get it together. In some ways, they have to play to stay together. And if they don't do well, there's going to be changes. And they know that. Josh Monroe is here this morning. Good to see Josh Monroe in once again. It's been a little bit, Josh. Good to see you. Fiercey saying yesterday was interesting. The way Pelicans played remind me of the Raptors. They beat Sacramento, who I believe are stronger than the Lakers, but not the Lakers. We do the same inconsistency. It was interesting. The having the TNT and the ESPN people interact. Stephen A. Smith busted his chops by Charles Barkley, saying, "You have a first take, I'll give you a take to your face. Is you talk that garbage here or something like that." That was pretty funny. Charles Barkley going after Stephen A. Smith. Listen, they were saying this, and Shaq said this apparently. He said that Zion plays like him and that he needs to wake up and be better because Zion was very underwhelming in this game and he did not show up properly to meet the effort against the Lakers, is what I'm hearing. I didn't watch the game myself, so I'm just going by what I've heard. And, that's a very disappointing margin that the New Orleans Pelicans lost by. That is a lot. That's a lot, man. That is a lot. I don't want those inconsistent Pelicans reminding you of the Raptors. No, we want the great, good teams that are playing well to remind you of the Raptors going forward. Cool Cat saying our core can win, but we are at the mercy of those bench rotations. We'll be watching this game watching the game this evening. Yeah. With the bench rotations are dangerous plays. There's a lot of pitfalls. and issues that can happen around that time. So Darko's gonna be really smart. I think that this is something he's very much been thinking very deeply about in the last couple of days because he understands this. They've talked about it in the practice interviews. Darko's so open. In fact, he may be too open. The whole telling everybody about the dinner thing probably shouldn't have happened because people are trolling us over the dinner in different places. Now, this is what I wish you had done, Darko. You could tell the whole team, but nobody needs to know about it. Don't tell anybody. And then when y'all have won 3 games in a row, take them out to dinner and show it. In some ways, we don't want to tell people before we do things, especially if they're inside team things. You should have just kind of kept it within the team and quiet. And then when you guys have actually won 3 games in a row, show the dinner and tell everybody they got a reward for winning 3 games in a row. Some ways that people knowing that this is something that you're doing is a little bit of extra pressure in a weird kind of way. And also it's trolling fodder for other teams. I saw Miami Heat Nation had a little clip with them bringing us, here's your dinner, Darko. And they had the L and the plate for us. So yeah, in some ways you gave us trolling fodder for the other teams to make fun of us by making it so open apparent your 3-win streak dinner goal. And I don't like that. I don't like that. In some ways, I don't care. They're going to tease and make fun no matter what. But you kind of gave them a good little thing to be creative off of. Yeah. All right, let's see. Fiercely saying, happy birthday to Tom Duke, the magnificent Tom Duke. That's right. We miss you, Tommy. I know that you've been very busy with work and other aspects of his life right now. So he's just taking a little break. You know, the team's not playing so well. It's tough. And sometimes Tom just needs to go and do what he's got to do in his everyday life more and focus more on that. So let's see. Trevor's saying next NBA season that Trevor J. Cup is going to be bigger and better. Don't threaten me with a good time, Trevor J. You're going to say that you're going to make this bigger and better next year? Well, I hope that the shipping doesn't cost too much for you to send it to me. Holy crap. And maybe next time, I don't know, maybe you should hold on to it. Although I should be able to show it on screen. I think that that's important because I can wave this around and say, this, you could win this. And I might need to do that again next year. Hopefully it's not so heavy that I'm like, we'll see. I'm excited about that, Trevor. It's already, we haven't even finished the first one. He's already thinking about the second annual Trevor J. Cup. Very, very fun. I don't know if maybe we do it the same way. Maybe we tinker with it a little bit. We might have to think about that. Go to the drawing board, Commissioner J, and figure out how we might change the Trevor J tournament contest, just like how they're tinkering with the in-season tournament. They're going to probably tinker with that too. Dana's saying, good morning, everyone. Canadian Dana is here. She is Canadian. Have we gotten the good news yet about Ohtani? It seems like it's very, very close. Canadian Dana, big time Blue Jays fan. And we're going to get Christmas early in Toronto in the 416 because the hottest free agent in the MLB is going to sign with the Toronto Blue Jays. I hope so. I'm hoping for that very, very soon. Cool Cat's saying this. History making for LeBron James in his final phase of his career. I want the Pacers to win to write a new history narrative. That is right. I am all about that. I am all for that. That is exactly right, Cool Cat. That's right. We want history, new history. We don't want to celebrate the past. LeBron James will be the past soon. And Tyrese Halliburton is the future. So let's go with the future, baby. That's right. I want to see this, but we'll see. We'll see. I know that Adam Silver really wants that in his resume for LeBron, and I'm sure LeBron wants it too. So there's a lot of things lining up here. They want that. Seymour saying, I can't stand bandwagon fans. Now all Lillard fans are Halliburton fans right now. It's almost like that man stole his signature move, and they all went to Halliburton now. It's like Dame Time, very weird after the game in his press conference saying, yeah, it's fine that he did my move, but just understand, you soak it in now and stay humble because it could flip on you at any time. Yeah, it's a little salty words, even though he's complimentary, but he's also kind of being a little salty. And it's like, look, dude, you're always showing people up by you and your bullshit, you and Steph Curry with your fucking dumb shit. So if somebody does that to you, fucking eat it and take it, Dame Lillard, you fuck. Because listen, you've been doing this shit for years, and now Halliburton did it back to you and beat your ass. Yeah, that's what you get for being a show-up motherfucker all these years. Yeah, somebody else does it to you back, that's just how you get it. Because you did that yourself. That's right. Turn around comes around is what we're saying. Fiercely saying bubble chip, and now I and this IST chip. Lakers need to chill. Indy, please blow them out. You are way more talented and deep. Yes, I would love to see this. An unsung team, a team that's a small market, a team that, in some ways they're just getting to there. I want this to go to race mode daily. Edmund, I want to give you this trophy. I really do want to see this happen. And in some ways, I was like, man, Indiana probably doesn't really have a chance. When I was deciding everybody's team, I was kind of thinking about what teams would have the best chances. And I was like, man, I'll give Edmund Indiana because of race mode and pace cars in Indianapolis. And I was like, man, but I don't know if he'll have actually a good chance on this. Well, I was wrong. And that's why this in-season tournament competition that we've done with Trevor J is so interesting, because even teams that I thought would not have any chance in this have shown that they did have a chance. And Indiana is definitely a good example of that. So, yeah, I know. Fiercey, in some ways, listen, they're going to invite people to discredit the in-season tournament if the Lakers win. I'm going to tell you that right now, Adam Silver. If you don't understand this, you may find this out. Laker haters are very strong. And, the way that they discredit the bubble championship, which it should be discredited, it very much should be, asterisk. Yeah. In some ways, haters are going to discredit this IST if you let LeBron win. I'm going to tell you that right now. People will like it way more overall. Laker Nation wants to win, of course, but people will like it way more overall if they see the underdog and Tyrese Halliburton win this thing and he's the MVP. I'm going to tell you that right now. There's going to be a lot of hating on the outcome if the Lakers do win, and you're going to get to hear all the people saying you're booking this like Vince McMahon. Yeah, you're going to get all that kind of stuff. So think about it before you manipulate or shape the game tomorrow night. Before you do that, Adam Silver, because there's going to be a lot of allegations and there's going to be a lot of haters that are going to say a lot of bullshit and put down your tournament if the Lakers win. I know they will. They're going to go crazy on Twitter. They're going to say this bullshit. They wrote the script and they filled it out. They're going to say that. I know they will. Seymour saying Raptors by double digits. Yeah. I hope so. This should happen. This is the way I feel like this should happen. If we are playing up to our ability and who we are, we should blow them out by double digits. If the Raptors are who they're supposed to be, Scotty Barnes, Pascal Siakam, OG Anunoby, Jakob Poeltl, Dennis Schroeder, they should blow them out. You're exactly right, Seymour. You're exactly right. I hope you had a great birthday, by the way. This got like 2 great Raptor freaks right in a row of birthdays. We've had so many great birthdays recently. Trevor J's, Seymour's, and now Tom's today. Let's see. Fiercey saying we expected a win over the Pacers earlier this season and got an unpleasant surprise, which is why I repeat, they must stay focused and engaged. No, we did not expect to beat the Pacers. I did not expect to beat the Pacers by 1 point in a second night of a back-to-back earlier this season, but we did. In some ways, that's part of the reason why I want to see the Pacers win, because we beat the Pacers when we played them this year. They're like one of the only Eastern Conference teams we've beaten so far this year. And the Pacers are that. So I'm all about that. That's some of the things that maybe the Pacers underestimated us in that game. And we were able to steal it by the end of the game and beat them by 1. So, yeah, that's how it went down from what I remember. Nako's here. Good to see my friend Gerald Mayhew. Always happy to see you, Nako the Nacho. I miss you, man. I hope you're doing really, really good over your neck in the woods in the 905. I've got Halliburton, and so I'm biased for Indy. He's got him in his Yahoo fantasy team, Raptors Freak Fantasy League, for Indy versus LA. But Indy's weakness is their defense. But I think the Bucks are better than LA, so I'm probably going to go with Indy. Raptors can't play soft tonight. Yeah, good points, Gerald. Good breakdown. He's knowing what Halliburton's doing because he's monitoring it very closely on his fantasy basketball team. Let's go see how Gerald's doing over there. And kind of just so y'all know, this fantasy basketball league we're doing on Yahoo, there's 20 teams in this league, right? But only 8 of us will qualify for the playoffs. So in some ways, everybody playing in this Yahoo Fantasy League should be gunning to be in the top 8. Because if you're not in the top 8, you're not playing the postseason. You're out. So that means 12 teams will not be playing the postseason. So the magic positioning is 8 and up. So if you're on the cusp, like Nako is, he's 10th with a 3-3 record right now. You're going to want to get to 8th if you want to play postseason play in this league. I'm just telling that. That's just so y'all know. I don't know if I told y'all this yet, but this is the way it is in this league. There's only 8 playoff spots, and there's 20 teams. So those 8 spots, you got to get in the top 8 is what I'm saying. Let's see. Seymour saying, Hairston Jr., the GM of the Dodgers, said, why play in Canada? You got to listen to 2 national anthems. Shaking my head. World gets dumber and dumber. That's just xenophobia and just hating on places. In some ways, he's pissed. because this is why. This is the thing. All these idiots in MLB are pissed because Otani, who's Japanese, may be very much signing with the Canadian team. In some ways, maybe Otani's like, I like Canada. I like they have really good Japanese restaurants. They have a very international city. There's a lot of fun things about the Blue Jays. And I think this is just Dodgers Nation seeing the writing on the wall that he's probably going to sign with the Blue Jays, and they're hating. They're hating. That's what that is. And this man's hating it so much, he's putting down the anthems. How unpatriotic of you, Hairston Jr. How unpatriotic of you. Canadians have died on the front lines next to Americans in world wars. And, that's what the fuck? You think that your country is the only country that fights for freedom in the whole fucking world? That's the propaganda of the U.S. that told you that. Canada has fought for your freedoms also and helped alongside you. And the disrespect of the anthems, whether Canadian or American, if you would get pissed about disrespect towards American anthem, you should get pissed about disrespect to the Canadian anthem also. Because I'm telling you right now that we're brothers in arms. And usually when you guys go to fight, we're coming too. But not when it's Iraq. No, it's not. No, it's not. Monique's saying Joel dropped another video vlog, and Dennis was pissed after the Raptors versus Heat game and was in the practice court. Thank you for bringing this up, Monique, giving me the cue cards of things I wanted to talk about. Joel Vision in effect yesterday. Joel's so crazy. In some ways, Dennis didn't want to do the game day vlog because of the way that he played in the Heat game and how bad it was. But in some ways, they wanted to let people know something. And they were very smart about how they went about it. Joel, going to the game, really enthusiastic. Of course, they're always showing us behind the scenes things in the Scotiabank Arena, like different little hallways in the underbelly of it, where you go and there's the family food room where they're getting plates. He's hanging out outside the family food room bathroom, waiting for Alex to come out and surprise him because he's just trolling Alex all the time. He's like Mad Alex YouTube channel. That's what we're going to call it. It's so funny. Joel and Alex, in some ways, Alex is not happy with Joel. In some ways, he very much puts up with him. And I think that Alex is not totally thrilled that Dennis plays for Toronto either. I think that he'd be happier in the States. I get that vibe from Alex, unfortunately. But whatever, Alex. We don't care. You work for Dennis. Dennis wants to play for Toronto. Ellen loves Toronto. Joel loves Toronto. I don't give a shit if you like Toronto or not, Alex. But I get the vibes that you don't. Now, the really cool thing in this clip was we saw what Dennis did after the Miami game. Now, he was on the Raptors show also yesterday, and he straight up apologized to everyone. He apologized to the fans. He apologized to his coach. He apologized to his teammates. He did it after the game to their faces in the locker room for how bad he played in the Miami Heat game. He took accountability right away. And that's an amazing thing. If you saw him on the Raptors show yesterday, you will see the real Dennis and how professional and how he is like, he's really serious about being a good player in the NBA and winning. And that's what we need more of on this team, is somebody who takes it that fucking seriously that they can't sleep or eat because they're so mad about how they played and they're not happy with the quality of what they did. And that's what happened. And you know what? Joel was like, all right, we're done at the game. We're going home. And like, nope, you're not going home. Dennis is pissed. And he doesn't like how he missed all those shots and he played bad in that game. And he's going to OVO. That's right. Dennis went straight to OVO after the game the other night and shot around on the basket on the practice courts over there for a while. And it looked like when Joel said we're going home, he looked like he was half in the bag, that he was really that tired. And it could be that they were there till like 2 a.m. on Wednesday night with Dennis shooting around like crazy because he's pissed at himself. And that's what he wanted to do. The great ones do that kind of shit. I'm telling you. The great ones, when they have a bad game and they are mad at themselves, they go to the gym and continue to shoot that night. And that's what Dennis did. So you tell me if Dennis cares or not, or Dennis is somebody who we should be coming at and being mad at. No, that man's holding himself accountable. He's putting in the work and he is pissed with himself. As I said the other day, he's his toughest critic. And you're going to expect him to bounce back tonight. Oh, yeah, he's going to come back with and put his first foot forward in the right way against scary Terry Rozier. It's an interesting matchup, Dennis versus Terry. That's for sure. That's an interesting matchup. I'm going to say that. Fiercely saying, Lex, are you saying Malachi will pull a 2020 like Fred? Laugh out loud. Just kidding. But yeah, Malachi should take this opportunity to step up and boost his confidence. This is a team where you could do that. You can take advantage of this. In some ways, Charlotte may be slipping on defense in certain ways. Malachi, use your 3-year veteran experience of being in the NBA to pick them apart in a pro-am way. This may be the best night for Darko to lie to him and tell him, hey, Malachi, we're actually playing in a professional amateur game tonight. Yeah, we're in Seattle, actually. We're not in Charlotte. Yeah, you thought we were in Charlotte. It looks like Charlotte, but it's actually Seattle, where you're from. You should be very comfortable here. Yeah, we're playing a pro-am today. Yeah, you can just play, have fun. They won't play that good a defense, so just score as much as possible. Could you get a 60 piece tonight, please? I'd love to see that. Darko, just lie to Malachi and tell him it's a pro-am game and watch him drop 60 on them. That's what it is. No pressure, Malachi. It's a pro-am. Tonight is a pro-am for you, Malachi. You better fucking score like it. That's what I want to see. Seymour saying, I hope they get extremely physical with that woman beater. He shouldn't even be in the league. Zero tolerance. I like that. I like that, Seymour Pape. See, this is the kind of shit that Michael Jordan would get up for. You know, in some ways he'd be like, damn, that guy beat up his wife so bad in front of his kids, and he threw a brick through the car window with the kids inside. What the hell is he doing in the league? Michael Jordan be like, I'm going to take it out on that. I love my mom so much. I'm going to do this for mom. You know, that would be awesome if we had a guy on this team that had like an irrational, like built up, like I'm taking this out on them kind of thing, because he would be good fodder for this. The wife beater, zero tolerance. Let's get him is what I'm saying. But we know Scotty likes Miles Bridges. He talked about him on his stream. He said, Miles is my dude. I like him. And I'm like, no, Scotty, no. And everybody's like, what do you mean you like him? Like, he's a horrible person. He said, what do you mean? He's a nice guy. I've played against him and as a youngster, and I've been around him. He's all right, dude. I'm like, whoa, no, Scott. So in some ways, we're not going to get that from Scotty because he's friendly with Miles. Now, maybe Pascal could get upset. I love my mom. You beat up women. Oh, I'm going to take you out. I don't know. I wish one of these guys would be like Michael and irrationally hate him for his crimes against women. That's right. There you go. G saying league will help LeBron get it. Yeah, well, I'm going to see who the ref is. They had Scott Foster in the game for last night. Of course, Scott Foster is going to be out there helping direct traffic and water to where Adam Silver wants to go against the Pelicans with the Lakers. Oh, yeah. We're going to see. We'll watch them. We're monitoring them. We're going to see who the ref crew is tomorrow for the final in-season tournament game. We'll have to see who it is. Troy Henry saying, game day, baby. Yeah, Troy Henry's hype. Let's go. Another test for the Raptors. But again, it is really a test with the Hornets. It's a must win, in my opinion. I agree with this. We've had too many games where we've lost, and it's been sad and underwhelming. We can't handle any more of this, Raptors. Y'all want to be bummed out? Y'all want to be questioned for, like, what the fuck is wrong with this team? Like, crazy? Well, lose a game tonight. That's what's going to happen if y'all do that. So don't do that. Avoid it. Win tonight. Kick their ass. And then we don't have to hear this bullshit because you know all the idiots all over social media everywhere. We're going to come for y'all if y'all lose to the Charlotte Hornets. And tomorrow will be a difficult stream for me. I'll do it, and I'll stand proud, and I'll still be there, and I'll be there for the Raptors through thick and thin. But it won't be fun. It won't be fun tomorrow if y'all lose tonight. I'm going to tell you that right now. It will not be fun tomorrow on the stream if they lose tonight. And you may want to come watch it if that happens. But hopefully we just talk about a big victory and lots of good things for the Raptors tomorrow. Nako's saying a lot of rookies this year getting sent to G League this year. I really, truly believe that nobody's prepared for the league at this point, and that all these motherfuckers should be going to the G League. Y'all going to take no college or 1 year of college? Y'all need to go to G League. I'm sorry. I don't care if you're the fucking number one pick in some ways. I mean, Victor maybe doesn't need to go to G League, but everybody else should. Scoot's down there. Brandon Miller, maybe you got to go down there at some point. I don't know. I have to see you tonight. I haven't seen you play yet. So it'll be interesting to see the second pick in the draft, Brandon Miller, see how he does. It could be very interesting. Let's see. Fiercely saying, I'm sorry. I know it was discussed yesterday, and there's no way for this to happen, but Precious needs to go to 905 as well. Yeah, somebody was saying that in the stream while we were watching 905 yesterday. I think Blackhawk was saying it. Can we send Precious here? I don't think that it would be fair in some ways for the other teams. I think that Precious would go down there and he would eat them alive. I'm telling you right now, he's on another level as far as who he is and what he can do. And honestly, if he went down there, it would be like Boucher in the G League a few years ago, where he just dominated it. Seriously, if Boucher, when he was younger and not as savvy and good, dominated the G League like he did, winning the MVP and the Defensive Player of the year he was down there, Precious will do the same thing. And in some ways, that's not worth it. It's scary for injury risk down there. And in some ways, it's like we need him badly on our main roster. So unfortunately, even if he was eligible, I would advise against it because honestly, he never went down there ever. And I don't think it would help him. He gets help from just playing in the games. Like, seriously, he's getting a lot of good development on the Raptors, and he doesn't really need to go down there, even though I know y'all want him to. You keep saying that too. You keep saying, send him down there. I'd say send Malachi down there, but they're in the same year, and neither one of them can go. Milbester's here, New York Knicks fan, coming in and checking on us once again. Good morning, Raptor Freak. Made it in time this time around. How are you? Waiting for Knicks to resume their season after in-season tournament loss and knockout rounds. Yanks got Soto. Yeah, you guys got Juan Soto. Yeah, I saw a little thing on Twitter where you said it's a wonderful day. Dad jokes. A wonderful day. You guys are playing against. I believe that you guys are going to play against the loser from which game are you going to play against? All right, if you lost to Milwaukee in the first round, you should be playing against the team that lost to Indiana, and that is Boston. So I believe that you guys are going to be playing Boston tomorrow, and that's your extra game. So you guys got to play the Celtics, and then we'll see y'all on Monday. Yeah, we'll come around and see you at Madison Square Garden on Monday, Milbester. The Raptors will be playing you guys in MSG on Monday night, so we'll be there. I'm doing pretty good today. I'm feeling pretty good myself. I got a lot to do today before the game after I do the stream for work, but I'm going to get it done real quick and kick some ass, just like I hope the Raptors kick the Hornets' ass tonight. So, yeah, I'm doing pretty good, though. Yeah, Fiercely saying at Seymour, it won't happen. We're too nice. Also, Scotty is buddies with the woman beater. I also refuse to type his name. Garbage. There you go. Fiercely is very fierce about it. And I'm going to give her a dunk for being fierce about this in particular. Yeah, I was so disappointed when Scott stood up for Miles Bridges that day. I was very, very disappointed in this. But it shows that these guys are a brotherhood. And in some ways, they overlook some of each other's kind of warts. Just because they're together, their play, they have the same kind of coaches and trainers and agents and different people, and they know each other. In some ways, it's a fraternity, just like cops or just like referees. And in some ways, there is a fraternity of the players that they will stick together and have each other's backs. And I think that was part of the thing that happened with that. But Scott, that's not the hill you need to stand on with Miles. Seriously. That's not a good hill to stand on. Nako saying, to comment on injuries, we would be better if Koloko were in. Yeah, of course. Of course we need Koloko back ASAP. And I'm sick of him being a DMP. And man, I really want this kid to start developing quicker because this is the thing. Centers take longer to develop. And this is wasted time. In fact, it's really pissing me off that Koloko has not been okay since May. It's not like this injury started at the beginning of this year. It's robbed him of the whole offseason and this year so far. And that's not good for big man development. They take longer to develop. So this is really, really bad. Really, really bad. And he needs to get it going. In some ways, I want to warn people right now, because we brought up Koloko, that COVID is surging. Of course, survival rate is very high. But there's all kinds of weird shit that people are having side effects from the COVID, like Koloko. And y'all need to be careful right now because the wave is going up right now. And it may not kill you, but it could give you side effect health problems that you don't want to deal with. So still take precautions. You know, I'm still staying home, even though everybody went out. And some of that's my own choice, but it's also keeping me really fucking safe. And if you are out, don't be fucking shamed to not wear a mask. It's the time of the year to do it. Trust me. Families are moving around and going and visiting because of holidays. And this is super spreader time. And this is always when COVID spikes, when the weather's dropped. And honestly, it's a mutating thing that is changing and having different effects on different people's bodies as it goes. So just a public service announcement. This is COVID season. And don't take it lightly just because it's not killing people as much anymore. Take it seriously because it can still affect your health. So there, I'll just finish that up. Bryce Lawson's here. Good morning, Raptor Free. Good morning to Kentucky. Bryce Lawson, Kentucky Wildcats. Let's go. Let's go. Yeah. David's got the cookie. Cookie. Oh, cookie. Oh. Neil Bester saying, Raptor Street, Yankees are setting up for a bounce back year in 2024. I don't give a fuck. All right, let's go. We also got Alex Verdugo from Red Sox a day prior to the Soto trade with Trent Grisham. They're trying to get Yoshinobu Yamamoto. How are the Jays? Oh, my gosh. I'm going to tell you right now, we don't cover MLB very much. The only reason why I'm talking about MLB right now is because of Ohtani. I do not watch the Blue Jays regularly. In fact, I don't watch them because when I watch them, they lose. So because I love them and I want them to win, I don't watch them on purpose. Because when I do start watching them in the playoffs, well, things like Minnesota Twins happen. So I'm not watching the MLB, and we're definitely for damn sure not talking Yankees in depth here. So I'm sorry, bro. In some ways, this comment is not really welcome here because it's off topic. I will let you have it just for now. But in some ways, yeah. We'll see if we get Ohtani. Well, ask me how the Jays are doing then, because that would be awesome if we get Ohtani. He's also saying Knicks got their first 5-game West Coast trip now. Suns, Clippers, Lakers, and I think the Jazz. Don't remember entirely. Knicks going to have a lot of home games in the second half of the season. Well, we'll see how things go. In some ways, y'all have had an easier schedule than us. And that's part of the reason why y'all's record is better than us. I went and looked at it. Y'all played Charlotte 3 times already this year. And that really does prop you up. You've had a lot of easy opponents. And that's part of the reason why y'all's schedule is so good right now. I'll tell you right now, I still think we're better than you. And by the end of the season, we're going to overtake y'all because we had one of the hardest schedules. We had the 5th hardest schedule out of all the NBA teams. And I think you had one of the 5th easiest schedule in the whole entire league so far this season. So you can think you have an easier second half of the season, but you're going to have the hard games at some point. And you've had a lot of sub 500 opponents so far this year, just so you know. And when I did the research on y'all, that's the one thing I noticed is the Knicks schedule so far has been cream puff opponents. And, well, you're going to get some more tougher opponents. Get more Philadelphia, more Boston in your life. Like you're going to play Boston very soon. And we'll see how you do against them. I'm rooting for y'all against those teams, so just so you know. You play the Sixers and the Celtics, I want y'all to win, just so y'all know. All right, let's see. Monica's saying Gary Trent Jr. was clicking last game, shooting threes. I hope it continues tonight. That's right. We want to see you hit the shots. Gary, if you play so well off the bench, maybe I will kind of start getting warm to the idea of you starting. You know, people have such a weird memory of last year's starting lineup, and they think it's so good. You know, people are posting all these stats about Gary with certain starters and how those stats look, and some of it does look really good. And I know why y'all are doing this, because you really want him to start over Dennis. But in some ways, once again, I'll say this. Dennis sets the table for us, just like Jakob sets the paint for us. And in some ways, that's very valuable. In some ways, he hasn't been effective in some games. Sure, you can give me that criticism. But I will fully expect him to get them off to a jump start tonight. Watch. They ain't messing around. If they're talking about bad energy right off the start of the game, you're going to see the Raptors come out in a different way tonight. Seriously, you're going to see that right away. And it doesn't matter that they're playing the Hornets. They're going to come out with a very high level of professionalism because this is really what we're going to be looking for tonight. And they know that. They know they're under the microscope because they've been losing close games recently to Eastern Conference. So they need to just make sure they win. And they come out there and do it right away, they'll be fine. They'll be fine. G saying, Dennis apologized, but the Stars need to step up and take it too. I believe players being too passive and have put pressure on Dennis and Fred in the past. It can't just be 2 coaches and 2 different point guards. Yeah, this is the thing that people are trying to compare Fred and Nick to Darko and Dennis. And I don't think that it's the same thing at all. It's not the same thing at all. And people that are making that comparison are lazy. And they just, oh, this is an easy argument. Say this. That's actually bullshit. Seriously, it's actually very much bullshit. And even the criticism of Fred last year wasn't warranted, honestly. A lot of the Fred hating last year was so stupid and just so like out of pocket and dumb and unnecessary. In fact, I'm embarrassed by everybody who participated in the Fred hating last season. I really am embarrassed with y'all. Y'all are not really true Raptor fans. The way you turned on one of our greatest Raptors of all time. And it just pisses me off. So, yeah, in some ways, I'm sensitive to people that make the argument that we have this again because y'all are the same fucks who were treating Fred so poorly last year. So, yeah, I'm with you on this, G. I think that some of the players need to step up and make more of their mark. That's what these vets keep saying. Go out there and force your will. Go out there and be the person that activates the game and makes it the way you want it to be. Scotty, Pascal, OG. You guys go do that. You guys fucking get off your asses and make your will on the game and do it in the way that you know you can. Wayne is here. Good to see Sergeant Strainer. Players know each other much better than us, the fans. What Patrick Beverly stated about some of our team is likely true. I think they feel just playing good is sufficient. If teams fight back, we fold. This is a good point by Wayne. That seriously, in some ways, that there's been a couple tells. So the other thing Nick said, good luck with those guys. Maybe it's like Nick was very much trying to get the best effort out of those guys. And at some points he said at the end of the year too, it's like, this has been a tough year, but I'm really proud of these guys for the effort that they put in and how much they really worked hard this whole year. And in some ways tells me that he needs to light a fire under them and pressure them to play at their ultimate best. In some ways, this is something I worry about, that these guys are two nice guys, that these guys are just, in some ways, Siakam, as I've said, he has that eye of the tiger for improving and working out and doing that like crazy. But does he have the eye of the tiger, the meanness on the court? Rico Hines saying, we got mean Siakam. Well, we need more mean Siakam. Get angry, do mean stuff out there like Michael would. And Scotty, yeah, I see you can have it in you more naturally than the other two guys. It's just you got to tap into it correctly and be mentally right. In some ways, your mental fitness is just as important as your physical fitness, Scott. And the mental fitness is going to be part of your evolution, some of the later stages. You get it right, your physical stuff, your conditioning, you can operate at a high level. Well, you're going to have to get it right with your mental condition too, and operate at a high mental competitive level. And that's what I want to see. OG, whatever you can do, do it. Listen, in some ways, I'm like, you're an enigma. You're going to be who you are. But if you can be some sort of like James Worthy silent assassin 2023, do it, bro. Don't wait around and you don't have to tell anyone. Just fucking start killing everyone. Seriously, it's what I'm about. I agree with this, Wayne. And this is a big concern I have. That Dennis is in the right direction of this. He really is. Fred was too. And even Jakob says some stuff. Like he said in this interview this week, he said, we're not playing as tough as we can. And there needs to be more consistency in that. So he sees it from the inside also. Pirtle. So, all right, let's see. Fiercey saying Barkley disrespected us yesterday. They were playing a guessing game, and Stephen A. Smith guessed right for Otto and Garrett. Barkley didn't know and said, I love them, but I won't watch them again. Hang on. All right, let me read this. I didn't catch this part. And then what is the second part that you're saying there, Fiercey? I want to make sure I get the whole thing. When he was questioned as to how come he didn't know they were now Raptors. Yeah, fuck you, Barkley. He does that. There's going to be a diss. He never learned how to say Valanciunas' name correctly. That's part of the xenophobia. That's part of the training to disregard us and treat us like we don't matter. This is a very good example for just people in general. Like if you're being racist or sexist or dismissing somebody or discriminatory, it doesn't matter what the basis is. This is the same thing. What Charles Barkley is purporting that he's a discriminatory person. That in some ways it's like, look, you can make fun of Canada and put it down, but it's xenophobia. And because you're an influential person on TV, you perpetuate people's mentalities to mirror yours. And we wonder why people down south don't respect Canada. They don't respect the Raptors because leaders like Barkley lead that way. So fuck you, Charles Barkley. I love you, man. But you're when you diss the Raptors and you're part of the media machine that fucking hurts us when you do shit like what you did. Listen, Otto Porter Jr. and Garrett Temple are good pros. And if you talk to them to your face, you would not fucking disrespect them like that to their face. Because you know that they handle themselves with class and they're ultimate pros. And in some ways, the whole brotherhood of y'all's being basketball players in the history of it, you would respect them better to their face. So fuck you, Charles. I didn't know he did that, Fiercey. I didn't know he did that. Let's see. Seymour saying, I peeped that too. Okay, it's good to know. Troy Henry saying, go Pacers. Happy for the youngsters. I'd like to see them win tomorrow. We'll see if it's in the cards. Jimmy saying, and we need to be less stubborn when it comes to changing rotations and starting lineups. If something isn't clicking, you must look for something else and try to find something that clicks. Listen, you do want that stability with your starting lineup if you can. But listen, you're right, Jimmy. If it's not clicking totally, you may have to brainstorm and make alterations. And listen, Darko actually did kind of give a tell that he may switch the starting lineup this week. He did say he's considering it. Now, if it doesn't happen, don't get all bent out of shape and upset. He'll have his good reasons for why. And in some ways, I disagree with changing the starting lineup. I know I'm very much known for what I've said so far on this channel in the recent weeks, that I like our starting lineup and I think it's very good. And Jakob said this yesterday in his interview. He said the problems with us have nothing to do with the groups that are going out there and who's on which one. It doesn't have anything to do with being starters or bench or anything like that. It has to do with us just not maintaining consistent effort and energy throughout the game in different times. And Jakob is saying that the lineup is not the problem. And he's in the middle. He's in the center of it. So he should know. So, I don't know. In some ways, we'll see if Darko makes the change. But listen, he's open to it. He's heard us. But it's up to him whether he's going to make the change. It's not up to y'all. So if he doesn't make the change, y'all don't turn on him and get all pissy because you didn't get what you want. Like a little baby boy, little child. I didn't get the lollipop, mommy. Well, it's his decision. But he is listening at least. At least he's listening and he's actually considering it. But he may very well come to the same conclusion. Well, we can't do this. Because he's also said, listen, he depends on Dennis a lot. And it's because he trusts him. And he knows that he's going to try and do things the way he wants to. These guys on this Raptors team, in some ways, they do not do things the coach exactly wants. They really do freelance and kind of improvise and kind of go into like their own mode of playing without really thinking about the system. Well, if Dennis is trying to play the system as well as he can that Darko wants, he may be his best linkage to getting it done on the court. And when he's not out there, you see the guys kind of doing whatever the fuck they want. And they may not be doing exactly what Dennis or what Darko wants. So that's a big reason why Dennis plays the way he does and when he does and how much is because he is the thing that has the biggest influence of getting Darko's system played correctly by the rest of the Raptors. Does that make sense? Because we know last year there was a lot of times where the Raptors were not playing plays or they were just half-assing and playing out of their ass. And that's part of the reason why our offense sucks is because these guys are not running the system exactly correctly. They're going off script. And that's why they need to play Dennis, is because he can put the will of what Darko wants on the court more effectively out there. Does that make sense, what I just said? Because I really think that's a big reason why he values Dennis being out there, because he can trust him and he knows that he's doing things that he wants done with the system. And some of those other guys are going off script and they're not really following the system that Darko wants. And it's not that they're being defiant of him, and he may allow for it to a certain degree. But also at the same time, he wants the guys to do what he wants them to do. And Dennis is the key to that. That's a big part of the reason why. So at the beginning of the game, Dennis has to come out there and start Darko's system. If you start Gary and Scotty's the point guard, he may not do Darko's system. Scotty may go off the chart and just be like, I'm doing whatever I want to do. And it's because he's already defied Scotty's already defied Darko on a last second play successfully, I will note. But still, you don't need that kind of development for Scott. He needs to structure and listen to his coach. He can't be just thinking he knows how to do his career and he's just going to start writing it by being the point guard, because that's a big, bad way to develop him. Seriously, really bad habits, and it will stunt his growth. If y'all don't understand this, you go watch Stunted Growth. It's a great YouTube channel. So, yeah, let's keep going. All right, this is a forever changing league, and teams lock into your downfalls, and you got to be willing to adjust. Yes, that's completely true. Chris is saying must win. Love the Pacers right now. There you go. I see as really good success. Yeah, I agree with that. David's saying it's kind of hopeless. The schedule across the league for the first 20 games has been a disaster. As someone wanting to watch games, it's hard to get into when there's no flow. I can't imagine what it's like for the players. Yeah, I talked about this recently, that the Raptors schedule has been so erratic as far as really, really hurry up all these games quickly and then nothing, where there's nothing, no games. It's like, how do they get a biorhythm or a natural tendency of knowing this is your schedule? That, oh, you're going to do this and do this. No, they're doing this on purpose. They gave us a really herky-jerky schedule that's all over the place and weird, and it's really hard for our guys to get in a rhythm partly because of the spacing of the games in the schedule. We had 4 days off this past weekend, and it did not help us. With the beginning of the season, we had like 4 games in like 6 days right away at the very beginning of the season. That did not help us. So I'm really suspicious of the erratic rhythm. Like if our schedule was a baseline mischief, it would be a really like not rhythmic baseline. It would be very like avant-garde acid jazz kind of shit. It'd be like that. There's no rhythm to the fucking schedule for the Raptors. It's all over the fucking place. And it's annoying me, man. It's got to be really wreaking havoc on them as far as like trying to be prepared and get into a schedule and like a good groove. That's so hard to do when the games are like so weird the way they come at them. Wayne's saying if Darko wants Dennis to take shots, if it's there, it's okay, but he must know that if they're dropping or not. Dennis got to exercise patience and feed Pascal, OG, and Jakob before he takes more shots. I think that's one of the biggest things he's beating himself up on the most. From what I heard in the Raptors show interview yesterday, is that he knows he made bad decisions at the end of the game, and he literally said, I lost this game for us. He said that. When have you ever heard a player go on a show and say, I lost this game for us personally? Seriously, I don't hear that very often. So he's taking full responsibility for the turnover and the 2-minute mark that totally deflated us and killed the game for us. So in some ways, he's going through all those different mistakes in the game, and he's realizing, yeah, I should have passed to Scotty. If he watches the tape, he will see exactly what he should have done in those instances, and he will do it better next time. So yeah, he learned from this. This was a learning experience for Dennis, and in some ways, he needs to really actively look to pass more than shoot. But if he is so egregiously wide open, he has to shoot it too. So it's a weird kind of hierarchy of how he should be doing his decision making. He really should be looking for Pascal and Scotty more than himself, for sure. I agree with that. But if the defenses are making it hard for us to get those guys going in the right spots, what can Dennis do? Sometimes he's going to have to shoot it himself. Fiercely saying, oops, I meant the Blazers, not the Pacers. We were not focused at all and let them beat us. My bad. No, it's all good. You brought up a great victory against the Pacers, 1-point victory that I never got to see on Open Gym. Fuck you, Open Gym, with your stupid shit. We'll see what you put out today. More hate propaganda for the Raptors. Open Gym, is that what y'all are about? Hate propaganda for the Raptors at this point? You fucks, you turned on the Raptors. Open Gym turned on the Raptors. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Yeah, let's not talk about the Portland Trail Blazers game. That was one of the first couple games in the beginning of the season, and it was ugly, and it sucked. G saying, I broke down why Dennis gets more shots. His play pattern is not as predictable. Drives, mid-range, 3 passes, and his shooting isn't great, so they leave him more open. These are really good exact reasons why. In some ways, Dennis can go anywhere on the court and make a shot for himself anywhere. Now, let's think about the problem with the Raptors the last year or so. They have such a hard time creating an open shot for themselves. It's like Gary was so valuable last year because he could. In some ways, that's part of the reason why Dennis is doing this. If Scotty would create more open shots for himself in certain ways, I'd love that. If Siakam could do it more himself, I'd love that. So this is really interesting what G did. He went and looked at it more closely, and these are his findings. That his play pattern is not as predictable, but his shooting can be up and down. His shooting is actually better this year than it has been in his career at different times. And I think he's a lot more dependable shooting than y'all are giving him credit. He misses sometimes, sure, but he is a pretty good shooter. Like he really was dependable in the Germany games this summer. And in some ways, he's still that same dependable shooter that's going to make the shots. And I'll bet you tonight, he might be almost perfect tonight because he's so pissed at himself. I'm going to predict this right now. And if there's anybody I believe in and I know will get shit right correctly quickly, it's Dennis. And if he's embarrassed and humiliated by the Miami game and the way it happened, he's going to come out with a totally different energy tonight. And he's going to be trying to be as absolutely perfect as possible because he knows all y'all are watching him. That's what I'm going to say right there. Yeah. Chris is saying, I don't think the Lakers can contend with the offense of the Pacers. Who guards LeBron, Jackson, or Toppin? If the Pacers can set the pace fast and hit threes, the Lakers are done. This will be fun. I hope it is some sort of weird mismatch where the Pacers can just beat the shit out of the Lakers and ruin LeBron and Adam Silver's plan That would be awesome. That'd be so awesome. Jimmy's saying it's about optimizing lineups, which we are not doing, and it's not a bad thing to say. It's okay to say we got to do a better job putting players in the best situation to succeed. Yeah, in some ways, it's kind of like finding those pairings that just have a natural synergy and they just go really well on the court together. And in some ways, as much as Nick was tinkering around with different lineups and trying to figure out those synergies last year, Darko's doing it again. And in some ways, Darko's got to do it himself and kind of discover those things by himself without, he can't go back and look at it all from last year. He could, but in some ways, it's not helpful. It's within his system where he's finding deriving the synergies that he can find between combinations of players out there. So in some ways, he's had failure combinations recently, but hopefully he's learned from them and he can have the better combinations. I like that he is listening as far as like no Scotty with just a bench lineup. It's always Scotty and OG with 3 bench. There's at least 2 starters out there with the bench instead of just like 1 starter with 4 bench. Those have been problem lineups. And he's listened and he's very guarded about it now. You'll always see at least 2 starters out there. And they're particular starters. You either have one of the defensive guys, Scotty or OG, or you may have one of those leader kind of guys like Jakob or Dennis or Pascal. Let's see. G saying Scotty, when he drives and there is a zone defense, doesn't drive to the net. He looks to pass off at the top of the key or corner, so they clog those passing lanes. Yeah. There's some things that Scotty's just got to be more aggressive about. In some ways, I don't feel like he's going in there like a big boy and throwing his weight around as much as he could. You know, you could really do whatever you want, Scott. It's just really your will to do it and you focusing and going and doing it. And you'll do it better and better as you get older and more vet. You will. I know you will. That's part of how your learning curve and your growth as a player is going to get better and better, is when you realize more and more how powerful you are and you actually use your powers. David's saying, yeah, should we trade him? Trade who? Scotty? That's not what we're talking about today. G's saying Pascal posts up the most, so they block that passing lane, and OG stands in the corner of the top of the key for the 3 and now drives to the net more, but they know where we will be. They need to cut and move. This is something we did really good at the beginning of the season when we had a lot of good success in certain ways that we've gone away from. I find myself yelling at Raptors games to the guys to move when we're on offense. There's just a lot of standing around again. I hate that they have a default to do this. I wish they could be more like Yuta and Grady and get around the court and stir the pot. In some ways, OG just standing there waiting for a 3, or Scotty just kind of standing off to the play as the dump off just in case at the top of the corner on the screen. That's not helping anything. Y'all need to be the straw that stirs the drink. And in some ways, that's how a lot of teams are doing good things, is they stir the drink up and boom, they get easy layups. So where the fuck is our stirring the drink? And also, Darko mentioned we need to go back to pick and rolls and things like that. And we're not doing as much of that stuff anymore. That whole hot potato between Pascal and Jakob has been very effective and awesome. The passing back and forth between 2 bigs in the lane has really worked when we've done it, but we haven't seen it recently. So where is this stuff? They need to go back to the stuff that was working earlier in the season because they've kind of gone away from it recently. Mischief saying, I noticed the Raptors play better with 1 day off or a second game on a back-to-back. Let's get this win today. Yeah, it's weird. We've won a lot of our second games back-to-backs, and we lose the first one. I don't know. It's inexplicable. And this is true. Most teams really, it's smart to have a day off, day on kind of schedule. I said it before. That's the ideal NBA schedule. You play on Monday, you're off Tuesday. You play on Wednesday, you're off Thursday. You play on Friday, you're off Saturday. That is the best rhythm that you can give an NBA team, and that will get them in a groove. If you don't see a lot of that on your schedule, then it's really erratic, and it's hard for guys to kind of get into a schedule with their bodies and their biorhythms. Jimmy's saying, I don't know, maybe try changing things. Better off trying someone else before you pull the trigger on a trade that you will regret. And David's saying, good idea. He's a cookie man. David's like the cookie man right now. He's like Keebler Elf or something. I don't know what's going on here, man. This is awesome. You and David, you and Peter living in a tree all of a sudden. I don't know, man. He's just got a lot of cookies all of a sudden. I'm wondering about this. All right, Jimmy, I get what you're saying. You want to try Gary in the starting lineup before we possibly trade Gary or Pascal just to see that last ditch effort? Maybe. I mean, we'll see. Once again, we'll see. In some ways, this is a big decision. And in some ways, it can really hurt the team if it's not done properly. And I don't want to do it unless it's absolutely the right idea. Because in some ways, the status quo is the best way to go forward still, even if it's not totally clicking, because you may like screw things up in certain ways. I don't know. I'm very anti changing the starting lineup. I really am right now. Now, if we lose tonight, I may be more open to it tomorrow. Let's just put it that way. Wayne's saying Pacers are no surprise. I saw the dog in them last year when they walked in here and took our breakfast, lunch, and dinner along with smashing our wife on the way out. Total disrespect. Wow, what colorful language. My Sergeant Wayne Strainer there. Yeah, we were at that game. We were at that game with Tommy. Tommy came to Toronto at that time. The first time he came up over, and we went to that Pacers game. And that was a trap game. That was a weird game. Now, what I'm going to say is that Rick Carlisle has Nick Nurse's number. Yeah, for some reason, Rick Carlisle knows how to beat Nick Nurse in a coaching battle. And that was part of the reason why they kicked our ass in that game. Because I've seen the Pacers kick the shit out of the Sixers this year too. So I really do feel like the coaching matchup of Carlisle versus Nurse, Carlisle wins. So I think that was a part of it too. And yeah, I was surprised by that loss. And I underestimated the Pacers that day. They were on the up and up, and I didn't realize it. And we came down there all confident we were going to beat the Pacers, and we lost. And that sucked. That sucked. Seymour saying, Fiercey, she said, I won't type his name. Laugh out loud. This channel got the most ghost villains we shall not name. Love it. Yeah, she don't want to say, yeah, that's funny. You like that, Seymour? All right, Melbester saying, Knicks still got a couple games with the Raptors. Yankees having a good offseason so far for a bounce-back season in 2024. Jays is Ohtani sweepstakes, but as a Yankee fan, I think he's a Dodger. That's what you hope for. That's what you hope for. They're saying that we have the best percentage chance of landing Ohtani at this point in Toronto. Oh, I'm sure you hope that he goes to the Dodgers. Oh, I'm real sure you are. Yeah, I'm sure you are. All right. Yeah, I think we've got our quota talking about baseball today. But, it is a hot topic right now, the Ohtani sweepstakes. Yeah, we're going to play you guys for at least 3 more games. I think we're going to play you guys on Monday, and then we get you 2 more times in the new year. So, yeah, we're going to see y'all. This is better than last year. We played all our games in New York City before Christmas. We had all our games against the Knicks and the Nets were done before New Year's. Like, what the fuck was that, NBA? Such fishy scheduling sometimes. So fishy the way you do things sometimes, NBA. And now we get them more spread out this year, which is better. It's much better. It's like I was so pissed. We had to play the Nets before they got rid of Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. We fucking had to play them, Kevin and Kyrie, all of our games against the Nets last year. We didn't get to play them after that trade from Mikal Bridges because we had all our games against them right away at the beginning of the season. So messed up. So stupid. What is this? Oh, thank you, Jillian, for the super chat. That's very kind of you, Jillian Moody, giving me a super chat. That's very kind of like the number, too. All right, let's see. What are we doing next? All right, we're going to talk about Fiercey. Fiercey saying, Dennis is a class act. He took accountability. Yeah, seriously. I don't know how people can hate Dennis. Educate yourself on him. First thing I would say, go watch the highlights of FIBA World Cup. That's the first thing. Second thing, go watch his channel, his YouTube channel, and just humanize him a little bit. Raptors Nation. Go watch him and see how he talks, see how he treats his family, see how he handles himself as an NBA professional basketball player. And you may change your opinions about him. And then go watch Ellen's YouTube channel also, and you'll fall in love with the Schroeder family and just how beautiful and amazing their family is. So all these people talking out of pocket about Dennis, go research him real quick, and you'll feel like you're talking about a nice guy in the wrong way after you watch that stuff. Seriously, it'll be interesting. Let's see. Melbester saying, I see Ohtani staying in LA with the Dodgers. Oh, that's what you hope. You can keep saying that. You can keep wishing it. But the percentages are high, and Buster Olney's pissed off. So that's showing signs he's coming here, yo. Yeah, you're going to have to face him in the American League East. That's right. Ohtani's going to be coming to Toronto, baby. I know it. I can feel it in my bones. He's a smart man. He knows where to go. He knows what the team to go to be with is the Blue Jays. That's right. I said Raptors almost. Jimmy's saying the other teams got that scouting report locked down. That's why we're having bad starts. They are pretty much holding hands in the paint. They're so close together defending us, shaking my head. Well, I would like some diversification of our offense. And yeah, maybe they need to mix it up. Guys, be more creative and get more figuring out. This is a puzzle. Every single game is a logic puzzle, Scotty. and you need to figure out the solution for the puzzle. And sometimes that's you posting up. Sometimes that's you passing. Sometimes that's you hitting your 3-point shot. You just need to do what it is to dismantle the puzzle in front of you each and giving night. You can't go into the game just like going in, I'm just going to play. I'm going to be loose. I'm going to play. No, have a fucking mental idea about what you want to accomplish in the game before you go to the game and go make it happen. That's something I don't like. In some ways, I don't like the way these guys come in. Are you prepared and you have an idea? Are you pre-visualizing? Are you thinking about what you want to do on that court to force your will to the Raptors winning? That's what I need y'all to do. If y'all are just showing up, what time's the game? All right, I'll be there. I'm warming up. Or if you don't put any thought into what your goals and what you're trying to accomplish against that other team to beat them, then we probably won't beat them because you have no game plan. So get your shit together and figure out your mini goals, Scotty and Pascal and OG, and go get those mini goals accomplished because they will add up to a W. That's what we need right there. Mugabe is saying, good morning, Raptor Freaks. Lex, I hope Darko lied to Scotty and told him it's the fourth quarter every quarter. Okay, we're going to tell a bunch of lies to the Raptors tonight. First of all, we're going to say, Scotty, it's the fourth quarter. It's a special game. The first quarter is the fourth quarter, and so is the second. And the third and the fourth, extra points. So just come out there like the fourth quarter right away. And Malachi, this is a pro-am game. This is not a normal NBA game. You're playing in a professional amateur game just like in the summer, and we expect you to drop 50. Please, can you do that? Yeah, and Pascal, that guy over there, that Bridges guy, he punched your mom in the face last night at the hotel. Yeah, you didn't see that? He punched your mom in the face at the hotel. Yeah, go get some revenge. This is the kind of shit I'd be lying to the Raptors right now if I was in their locker room and talking to them at warm-up. Yeah, Scotty, it's the fourth quarter right away. Special NBA in-season tournament rules. What? Raptors? What? I'm like, yeah, it's a special fourth quarter. All 4 quarters are 4 quarters. Whoa, let's see what happens. We're going to lie to them. It's a pro-am. Carlos say happy Friday, Raptor Freak family. Oh man, happy Friday to you, Carlo. Always happy to see you, man. All right, let's see. Wayne saying, I respect Dennis Schroeder. That's accountability. I want to see it from our team. Question is, who else? Who else is being accountable for our inability to close down unknown opponents making threes? Yeah, the third banana, the fourth banana, killing us. Dante DiVincenzo, Royce O'Neal. Duncan Robinson. Oh, man. Come on. We got to get those 3-point shooters and shut them down. That's right. Cool Cat saying, I'm back. We'll be behind for the remainder of the show. Well, time and a half. I always say, if you're not watching me live as I'm speaking right now, when you watch me later, put me on a time and a half speed, 1.5 speed. And I go by really quick, and you can see my long streams much quicker. And I'm very easy to understand. In some ways, I'm funny in micro machines like speed talking. It's very funny to watch me talking fast, especially when I'm going off. Carlos said, hopefully Dennis rubs off on the team and everyone takes accountability after losses. This is what I'm saying. He's showing leadership just in his accountability and him taking it on him. It's on me, guys. And I took it really hard. That's what I'm saying. That's a good leader. That's a good role model. And in some ways, the way he cares about it, it should be like, well, damn, I should care about it as much as Dennis, or I want to care about it more like Dennis, because I can see that it makes him a better professional and a better basketball player because of how much he's taken this seriously. And maybe I could take it a little bit more seriously myself. I hope that some of the Raptors look inwardly like that, as far as a leadership example like Dennis like that. I mean, that would be good. MSJ saying on the Flynn topic, last night I saw a real deal backup point guard in Jose Alvarado. That's it. That's, in my opinion, that's how a backup has to play for his team. Pure energy and hype and a few threes, even Reeves. Yeah, I think that you're right. Alvarado is a great example of a backup point guard. He's a little undersized, so it may be tough for him to ever transition to becoming a full-time starting point guard. You know, TJ McConnell's another example of this. The little guy that's really probably not going to ever be a starter, but can have a really good NBA career as the floor general of the second unit. And the thing I love about Alvarado is, sure, he can score and can shoot, but he is really an assist passing kind of point guard that is getting his teammates from the bench involved while he's out there. So, yeah, he's a great example, Chris. I agree. Alvarado would be fantastic as our backup point guard. And if Malachi played more like Alvarado, I'd be very happy. Yes, I would. Mischief saying Raptors have problems with the zone defense. That's why they need to work on shooting. Yeah, take it into the middle. Throw it into Jakob. That's what they did a zone to us in a recent game, and we had success busting it by going in the middle. Often it's Chris that understands this. In years past, when he's a zone buster, he gets in the middle and he just kind of throws in a lane shot. That can kill the zone. So in some ways, when they show a zone, that's when we should be beating the bully ball in the middle of the lane by posting Jakob and letting him go to work one-on-one against one guy trying to guard him. And that should usually be pretty good. Jillian's saying, good game day. Yeah, let's go, Jillian. Let's beat the Hornets. We ain't got no business losing to the Hornets tonight. So we need to make sure we take care of that business and we win no matter what. Just win, baby. That's what I'm saying. Carlos saying Shohei. I don't know how to say his name, so I'm just going to say Otani. I know it's Shohei might announce decision today. Yeah, everybody's waiting with bated breath. Everybody's like, "Ooh, what's he going to do?" That guy, Mel Beaster, he really hopes he's not coming east and he's staying out west. Well, I think he's coming east. He's from the far east. He's going to come to the American League East is where he's coming. That's right. Carlos saying, fans already tracking a jet. He might be in. Laugh out loud. Looking like the Kawhi watch. It's a big deal. I mean, this may be some of the same people that were tracking the Kawhi watch here in Toronto. They're watching the plane or the jet that Otani is on. Yeah, let's see where it lands. It's just like they're watching Elon Musk's jet and all the fuel that he burns with his stupid ass shit. I'm going to go to the convenience store, honey. And I'm going to the convenience store in Florida, even though I fucking live in Texas. Piece of shit burning up the fucking jet fuel on a whim just to go get some Funyuns from a convenience store in Florida. You fuck, Elon Musk. I'm giving myself a dunk for going off on Elon in a funny way. Hey, I got myself a dunk. I actually threw an alley-oop to myself. That's not traveling. All right, let's keep going. Wayne's saying Pacers broke up the zone when Mathurin positioned on the three-point spot and directed traffic from there and shot mid-range from that spot. Sheer execution. Yeah, that's good stuff. I like that. Yeah, Ben Mathurin's been a little bit up and down this year. Like I've seen Carlisle get really mad at him at one game this season where he kind of missed an assignment. And in some ways, he's not totally happy with Benedict Mathurin. That he is not totally playing exactly how Rick Carlisle would like him to play. And, you know, he's a budding superstar. He's going to be very good. He's going to be very good down the road. And it's interesting. Him. He's a very interesting player. And go Canada. I want to see him in a Team Canada jersey in the years to come. That's what I want to see. I want to see him in a Team Canada jersey. That's right. Let's see. Carlos saying if somehow we got Mathurin and Nebhard from Pascal or OG, I wouldn't be mad. You know, in some ways, this is weird because OG on the Pacers makes a lot of sense. It does. They love him in Indiana, of course, because he went to school there and he has a familiarity there. But I don't want to give up OG. But in some ways, a trade with the Pacers for OG for like a couple of really good bench players could actually really help our team. Now, I'm saying, what are you saying, Lex? You want to trade OG? Well, in some ways, that would be the trade that works. And in a very interesting way. I don't know. Maybe it's Siakam that needs to be traded instead of OG. But the Pacers are not a bad team to be trading with right now. As far as there are some players on that team that I wouldn't mind. You know, who knows? We could maybe even get Miles. I don't know if Miles Turner helps. We really got to think about our needs and what will help us the best. And it may be Buddy Hield and Mathurin and Nembhard. What if we got Buddy Hield, Ben Mathurin, and Andrew Nebhard, bring two Canadians back and a really, really good three-point shooter for somebody like OG? Would we be able to do that? Would Raptors fans be okay with that? Because that may be the kind of deal that gets us out of the mud right there. Nebhard, Mathurin, and Hield for somebody like OG. If it's Siakam, is that too high a price? I don't know. This is very intriguing. The Pacers are a team I deal with. Pacers are a team I would deal with. Milbester saying, Raptor Street, Jays in Canada got hit hard from COVID. Jays had to play in the other stadium outside of Rogers Center during the pandemic. It was a mess. Just got to be careful with these smaller variants. Well, the whole reason why we had to play in Buffalo and New York is because the border was closed. And that was just reason why the Raptors played in Tampa, too. The Jays had to go through a similar thing as the Raptors and play in New York because the border was closed. That's the thing about being the only team in these sports leagues in Canada. When they had a border restriction and nobody could cross the border, we had to play in the U.S. It had nothing to do with anything happening here, honestly. In fact, we were more strict about COVID than you guys were down there, and our death rates actually reflected that. There were a lot of unnecessary deaths in the United States because y'all were irresponsible about things with your leadership. The president was a real problem at that time. And that's a big issue there. We took it a lot more seriously. And that's why people like whatchamacallit, Matisse Thybulle couldn't come and play here because he refused to take the vaccine. So it really was, we played over there, not because we had high COVID. We actually had better COVID rates than you guys had, and we dealt with it way better, much more responsibly. Let's just put it that way. It was only because we were the only team outside the U.S. border, and we needed to be within y'all's borders to participate without having to cross so much. So that's really why. It wasn't because we got hit hard or anything compared to everybody else. We actually dealt with it very well. In fact, I'm extremely proud of the city of Toronto for the response to the COVID pandemic and how we really banded together as a community and as a whole and did really good. There were much worse outcomes. And this is something I studied in grad school, mortality and life tables and death statistics. So this is my wheelhouse to talk about. That Canada had much better outcomes with COVID than the United States because there's a lot of misinformation down there. And there were a lot of knuckleheads that were making it political and dying because of it. In some ways, that's just political Darwinism. Okay, you don't want to take the vaccine, you don't want to wear a mask. Okay, more of your voters are going to die because they're stupid. And there's so many COVID deniers that were like, oh, no, I'm not going to take it. And then they fucking drop dead. That's a problem. Misinformation is a big problem in the States. Bryce is saying, hell yeah, Carlos. Mathurin and Nebhard would absolutely be beautiful. Well, Nebhard would give us maybe a better backup point guard project that has more fruit. And we love the Canadians being on our team. Mathurin is absolutely a stud. And it would work. In some ways, Indiana, if you really want OG, would you do Buddy Hield, Ben Mathurin, and Nembhard for OG Anunoby straight up? Because I might be willing to do that at this point. In some ways, the other thing about Mathurin that's fun is that he has that dog. He does. We saw it in his rookie year right away. The first time he played the Raptors, he killed us. He took it home himself and just beat our ass. And I would love to see that kind of force on our team. Seriously. In some ways, I don't know if he totally fits with what we're doing, but maybe he does. I don't know. Maybe he's not a good enough shooter. I don't know. But I'm intrigued by this. This is one of the best trade proposals or ideas that we've had on this channel in a while. And if we can get Healed in this deal, that would be really good because he would fix a problem right away. He really would. Mischief saying, I haven't watched baseball in 10 years and never will because of favoritism and salary cap. No, I totally get this gripe by Jay because honestly, it's not fair, the MLB, because the Yankees can spend so much money that it doesn't matter. They can buy World Series. They have in the past. I know Milbester's probably loving what I'm saying right here. I mean, seriously, some of the World Series that the Yankees have gotten over the decades were bought for. And it was just paying an incredible salary to have all these crazy all-stars on the team. And that was how they won a lot of times. So, yeah, I get with you on this, Mischief. At some point, as a team in the American League East, you just throw your hands up because you can't compete with the Boston and the New York markets and the spending that they do to keep their teams up. When those teams are down and we're up and the Rays are up or the Orioles, I'm happy because in some ways they do really buy like wins in New York City with the Yankees because of that salary structure that you just described right there. Let's see. MSJ saying, Lex, the masks do nothing. Even the New York Times said so. Even the new N95 just made a lot of garbage. Well, I'm not going to promote that because I don't agree with that. And I think that you're wrong. And you can say that, and that's fine. But that may be part of the misinformation that, is out there that I was just talking about just now, Chris. The masks do work. I'm sorry. Every medical doctor will tell you this. And whatever you read that from and whoever wrote that in the New York Times is probably full of shit. The reason why I know this works is because historically this has always worked. This is not a new thing. Everybody got upset when they asked us to wear masks. But when the last big, huge pandemic happened, they did the same damn shit. So honestly, Chris, don't do this here. I'm okay with misinformation about sports and stuff, but when it comes to people's lives and shit like this, I'm not promoting COVID misinformation, and that is misinformation that you just put there. Tristan saying, I think Gary is still adjusting to his new role, especially within the system. It looks like Darko appreciates Gary's playmaking ability and is trying to get that out of him. I have faith team chemistry will improve. I like that, Tristan Phipps. Always good to see good Raptor freak Tristan Phipps in the morning. I think that part of it is he's starting to get more healthy, that he's starting to come and turn around the corner right now because he feels better and he can operate and move around, and he's getting more lift on his feet. So maybe his plantar fasciitis is actually going away a little bit, and that's part of what's going on right here. I don't think it's anything other than his injury is healing, and that's why he's playing better all of a sudden right now. But I agree, and I'm glad this is a very welcome sight. We don't have Koloko. We had Gary kind of half hurt. Well, we need improvement with health. And Gary looking like he's waking up this season is a really good sign of positive stuff. So Jillian saying Dennis is a class act, how he handled the loss. Praying for Koloko. Lex, despite your age, you still look highly virginal. I'm such an innocent person. No, I'm not. I have a really crazy life, Jillian. I have lived about 10 or 12 different lives. And this latest version of me, I love it. Because honestly, it's one of the more positive, healthier versions of me ever. And there's been some really bad versions of me. And I appreciate that. And the fact that, in some ways I still got my health and I still look okay at this point with all the damage that I did to myself and all the self-loathing and hatred that I put myself through with my alcoholism, is really, I feel blessed that honestly, I'm at this point in my life because of the fire I've been through. But I appreciate that, Jillian. That's very nice of you. And we are praying for Koloko and improvement with Gary more and more. Country Conk saying, good morning, y'all. I saw the Sportsnet interview with Dennis. It sounds like he's taking responsibility for the loss. Nice to see, but I don't think it was all his fault. Great leadership still. No, I don't think it was all his fault either, but he's taking it like it is. And he doesn't mind stepping on that hand grenade and blowing himself up, saying that he did it. So in some ways, that's commendable that he's willing to be the sacrifice and say, yeah, it's all my fault, guys. It's my fault. I was shocked when he said that because you really do not hear athletes do that. It's like, say, I'm taking full responsibility myself for this loss myself, by myself. That's very fresh. I don't think I can remember a player in any sport that's come with that kind of I'm taking responsibility like that. It's amazing, Country Con. Good to see you, man. David saying, yeah. Cool Cat saying, I see Adrian Griffin getting heat for Buck's performance. Well, in some ways, the optics of him losing to the Pacers was not good in that game. It really, really wasn't, because in some ways they need to win. They need to win and top teams in the East because they're expected to be one of the top teams in the East. And in some ways, Milwaukee has faltered in some games that they really should not be faltering in, and that could be a problem. But yeah, we're worried about Adrian Griffin and him keeping his job this season. He could very well be like Bjorngren, and that will suck. It's really up to Giannis. If Giannis, he doesn't have the seal of approval from Giannis, and Giannis doesn't feel like he is the right coach, he'll be gone. It'll be like that. As soon as Giannis says, no, I don't want him to be my coach, he'll be fired. And if that happens at the end of the year, it will be because Giannis didn't like him. Let's see. Carlos saying, although I think Dennis is better suited for this team, Fred is thriving in Houston, so I'm happy for him. So you know what? I'm going to give you a dunk for positivity about our guy who's gone to another place. And we do really love Fred a lot, and we do not forget or tarnish his history with us. We love him. And Carlos showing that kind of astuteness there. Yeah, I think Dennis is a better fit for our team as an individual than Fred at this point. And it was a good switch. Tristan saying, yeah, I feel kind of bad for AG over there. It's a tough, it's very high pressure to be an NBA coach any which way you cut it. Any which way you cut it, whether you're a top team or a low team, it's got its different challenges. And this team is a top team. And in some ways that means expectations. So if you do not win and you are not successful, well, then they're going to look at you and think you're a failure. And in some ways, he's got to be compared towards Coach Bud for his years of being there and all the success he did have with the Bucks. Even if he failed last year and they lost in the first round in Miami, they're still kind of taking the body work of Coach Bud and comparing it to, well, what would have happened if Bud had been their coach this year instead of Adrian? And that isn't fair to Adrian to a degree, but that is what it is. I don't know. I hope he's successful when he gets it figured out. In some ways, it may not be totally his fault. I don't know if Dame Lillard was actually the right move. And getting rid of Drew Holiday may be hurting that team more than people realize. Let's see. Cool Cat saying our culture has changed where locker room and coaching conversations would never be shared. Now trolls are having a field day. Laugh out loud. Yeah, we had a lot more secrecy last year. It does seem like that. And Darko's a little bit more wide open with things. In some ways, I don't mind that. But yeah, it does invite people to troll us like the Heat did after the game the other night. Yeah. Carlos saying maybe it's understated that we need a leader like Lowry to get that culture back. Maybe Dennis can be that guy. I think he's trying to. And he is on some sort of scale of like that for our team. The thing I love is if you watch the games, you'll see Dennis all the time when there's a stoppage of play. There's like all the Raptors together standing there and they're talking. When have we had that in the past? How often would you see all 5 Raptors with Fred standing around and kind of going over things in the middle of the game? You wouldn't see that. So in some ways, I like that change with Dennis, kind of getting everybody in a huddle and kind of reorganizing and getting everybody on the same page. Because what we saw in the Miami game was true. Otto Porter brought it up yesterday in the practice interview that there were a couple times in the game against the Heat where the guys did not know the defensive assignments and they were totally confused and they didn't know what they were doing. And he said it. He's like, these guys need to know what they're supposed to be doing. They need to be understanding the plays and what their part is in the defensive scheme. And he said that straight up. He's like, this is a problem. These guys got to get on the same page and understand what they're supposed to be doing. So that was something that did happen. We saw it. It was very apparent. And Otto brought it up in the interview and said, yeah, that was something that we worked on in practice, making sure everybody knows their role in the different defensive schemes we're running. And even Darko said, I'm not trying to change it in the middle of the game. So I don't understand why they were confused. I always change it in the timeout, he said. He said, I'm not changing in the middle of the game, like going from zone to man or any kind of changes in the defensive scheme like that on the fly. It's really, I do it when we do timeout and they come back out and they do the new one when at that point, and they should know. So in some ways, maybe there is some mental checking out or not focusing or not staying in the game mentally with the Raptors is maybe one of the biggest problems with this team right now. So let's see. Giannis is upset with the team loss. He said they need to be more organized. That's not good for the coach if he said that he doesn't feel like their team is organized enough. In some ways, I look at Lillard as, listen, this guy's really good as an individual player, but he may not be the best team player. His history with the Trailblazers was not a whole lot of winning. And in some ways, guys like him can sometimes hurt your team more than they help it. And I'd be very suspicious about the addition of Dame Lillard not actually being a plus for the Milwaukee Bucks right now. Let's see. Carlos St. Griffin could be axed on his first year. He could be axed at the end of the year. I'll bet you they'll give him the whole year. But if the Milwaukee Bucks are not successful in the playoffs, there's going to be a problem at the end of the year. Trust me. Tristan saying, yeah, I think we're missing a leader. Nobody really seems to be jumping out and taking initiative as of yet. Part of the problem is that they want Scott to grow into this and be that, and Scott wants to do it. But once again, with a lot of things Scott wants right now, he's not ready, and he's not stepping into those roles correctly in the right way. And that's why we need to let Scott mature and get older as a person, and then maybe something will just click all of a sudden. And Scotty will be like a way more outspoken, productive, good leader and being more alpha and that kind of thing. In some ways, he's not ready. He's a Padawan. He's not a full Jedi. And we need Ben Kenobi to teach him the last few lessons, and then he can take the Jedi trials. And then hopefully he doesn't turn into Darth Vader, but hopefully he is really badass. And he's angry, and he kicks ass as a leader. So I could see this. I think that in some ways, Scotty's the leader in waiting, but he's not totally there. And his development as a player will mirror him developing as a leader also. Let's see. Mugabe saying, Lex, I don't care what you say. Dennis can take more shots than Pascal and Scotty. Yeah, can't take more shots. Yeah, I agree with this. He shouldn't be. On most nights, he isn't. But in the last game, he took one more shot than Scotty. Just one more. But I agree. I would most ideally like Dennis to have less shots than all 3 of the other guys, OG, Pascal, and Scotty. But in some ways, he has to do something when nobody else is doing something. That's always what I keep saying about that. Carlos saying, oh, man, a leader is hard to find. If Dennis does step up, Masai will lock him in long term. Well, maybe the people may not like me saying this, but I could see Dennis being our point guard for a while. I don't think that this 2-year contract is the only one he's going to get with us. I think he's going to be successful, and they're going to really enjoy having him around. And I could see him being retained and being with the Raptors for years to come. Some people, if you don't like me saying that, well, you're not really a Raptors fan, because seriously, he's good for our team. And if you're a really anti-Dennis person, well, you may not like the future that's starting to develop with this team, because Darko really likes having him here. And the continuity of having Dennis here for like 3 or 4 years is really smart, if you ask me. In some ways, it's really smart, because if Scotty does transition to being a very capable point guard that could start, Dennis can go to the bench at any time, and it'll make more sense, and it'll be fine. And in some ways, that's a luxury with Dennis, that he can play either way. But right now, we still need him starting, even though a lot of people are saying they don't think he should. Let's see. Tristan saying, by the way, Scotty did not depart from Darko's system. I watched that post-game interview. No, the thing that happened was, I'm talking about the game where he hit that game winner, and he just said, "Oh, I'm going to do the step back three." Basically, Darko gave him a play and said, "This is what I want y'all to do." And Scotty said, "No, I want to do this instead." And that was that game where he stepped back to the three and hit the three. He was successful and won the game for us. But it was very open. They were open about it afterwards. It's like, yeah, I had a play for him, but Scotty went off script. And he said, I want to do this, coach, and take over. And it wasn't that Darko was upset with him. Obviously, he was very happy because he was successful. But Scotty did go against what the coach was drawing up at that time and called his own number with his very specific own play. And honestly, that's not a good statistical play. I'm just very glad he made it, because in some ways that was not a good shot selection. And I'm kind of frown on what he did at that point, because he should listen to his coach and let him draw up the play. But yeah, he did. It's not that he departed from the system. It's just he defied what the play he had drawn up was. He said, "No, I'm going to do this instead, coach," and went off the script. Is what it was. Most saying, with Pascal being angry after the last game, he wants to kill the Hornets, playing so great lately. Yeah, Siakam on the down low is playing at a very high level and much better than when he started. People were complaining about him being underused, not getting his regular stats. Well, he's getting more to those regular stats at this point. And I'm really happy about that too. David gifting memberships. I love to see it. Let's see who got them. Look at this all-star list right here. I love this. Look at what a great list of all-stars getting gifted memberships from David Saborin, such a benevolent Raptor freak. And Wayne Strainer's got one. Carlo got one. Fun Guy got one. MSJ got one. Canadian Cowboy got one. Cowboy's in here. Cowboy didn't say anything. I guess he's working, but he got a gifted subscription. And Tristan's like, "Hey, where's mine?" "Oh, you got one already, Tristan. You're already good there." And Jillian's like, "Wait, what? I want it." She's like probably cussing. She retracted her message. Carlos saying, "Yo, thanks. Big thanks, Sergeant Strainer." That is from David Saborin, a great supporter of this channel. Honestly, one of the biggest supporters of what I'm doing here in this channel. I love you, David. And seriously, I want to hang out with you again very soon. We got to hang out, you and me, man, and go do some fun stuff in Toronto. I want to go to an NBA restaurant. Let's go down that NBA restaurant. Yeah, we got somebody we got to visit down there. Merci beaucoup, David. Bam, 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 bam. All right, let's go. Jimmy's saying, this is not about Scotty being point guard. The ball needs to be in our best players' hands. Scotty, Pascal are both point forwards that need spacing, period. They can both handle the ball. Yeah, I like that. I like that. They kind of described where Scotty's good with handling the ball and when he shouldn't be. And it really is like a difference between half court and full court. If the NBA would allow the game to be more fast break and up and down the court, I would love Scotty being our starting point guard. But because the NBA puts the shackles on the up-tempo game at this point in the history of the NBA, it's not the Showtime Lakers era anymore, and they don't allow people to play like the old Lakers do anymore. It isn't conducive to Scotty in the half court, because he's not a good half court point guard. He's a really, really good full court point guard and running up and down the court at a fast break. But when they slow it down and everybody's set, he's just not picking apart defenses well enough as the point guard leader. And that's the difference. That's a difference. If our game was more full court, up tempo, I'd say Scott should be the starting point guard right away. But the NBA's rules and the way they want people to play is slow, so much time stoppage. You really don't get to play an up-tempo game. If it was up-tempo, I'd be say start Scotty at point guard. Seriously, it was more up-tempo. But the league has got a cap. The refs don't allow it anymore. They took all the fast break fun out of the NBA in a lot of ways at this point. Mischief is saying, "Dap to David for being so benevolent,
Wayne's saying, I appreciate Dennis and he's good fit and he holds himself accountable. However, imagine Halliburton averaging 15 assists and 0 turnovers and does not take bad shots. We can do better. It's in us. Yeah, and Jillian agrees. She's agreeing with that. Yeah, you know what? I mean, I get that. I get that. I mean, we can't compare Dennis to Tyrese Halliburton. They're very different players. And, Halliburton is up and coming. Dennis is an old vet. And in some ways, he may have hit most of his ceiling. And you can't really expect him to develop a whole lot further than this, maybe mentally and as a leader and just cleaning up his game and perfecting it more and more. But he's never going to get to the level like Halliburton at this point. You may see Dennis get a 15 assist game and no turnovers. He's capable of that, but you won't probably see him do the really good shooting kind of stuff there. In some ways, some of the shots Dennis takes are bad. I'll agree. But I think most of the shots he's taken are the ones he has to take, and he's trying to make the best of it. So let's see. David's saying, all right, Jillian, grab this one. So he gave another one. Let's see who got it. Who got this? The last one. Mischief got the other one. Well, at least these all-stars getting it. Jillian will get one at some point, I'm sure. Tristan saying Darko loves his pecan rolls. That's a weird one. I didn't know that. Tristan, I don't even know what that means. You talking about pecan rolls? Like really? Seriously? Like a treat? Like is that something? I don't know what you're talking about. Is that a euphemism? I don't know. I'm going to give Tristan a blind dunk for I don't know. That's just such a weird statement. Darko loves his pecan rolls? What is that, man? What does that mean, Tristan? Literally, is he having them with the coffee? He's drinking so much damn coffee that he has the pecan rolls also. All right, where is Tristan on here? Tristan should be on here. I know he's on here. There he is. There's Tristan getting that dunk. All right, Carlos saying we really shouldn't be comparing anyone to Halliburton. See, that's right. That's right. Or the Pacers to our team. Pacers finally got something good after years of losing. I'll say this. The Pacers are the antithesis of our team. We're like opposites. They have no defense and they're all offense. And we're all defense and no offense. But who won the game? 1 point win for the Raptors. So in some ways, comparing the Raptors to the Pacers is really not something we should do. We really shouldn't. They're talking about trading Buddy Hield. And honestly, we need Buddy Hield. If we could make one, if it's not like one of our starters getting traded, we could trade I don't know. If we could trade Malachi and Thad for Buddy Hield right now, that would be a huge upgrade. Seriously. Buddy Hield and the Raptors is a big time person that I would love to get right now. And the Pacers are saying they don't necessarily want to hold on to him. Buddy Hield and Doug McDermott are like my 2 wish list people this year for the Raptors to go get. Buddy Hield and Doug McDermott. Those are the guys. Yeah, David's laughing because Mischief got it. The base man. And I'm sorry, Jillian, but it's going to happen at some point. You're going to get that membership. Yeah, you will. And the access to the great emoticons. David's saying, I tried. Keep coming back. You'll get one. See, he's encouraging too. And Jillian just dropped a super chat. You can just add your membership yourself if you're going to give me a super chat, Jillian. So you could just say, hey, I want to be a member and just become a purple level member. It's very cheap. It's only like $5 a month, I think. Let's see. David's saying, fun fact for the day, Preston Carlisle, Rick Carlisle's father, used to be a client of mine. I thought that was pretty cool. This is really cool, David. And you're going to get a dunk for this because that's awesome. All right. So I'm guessing Rick Carlisle's father has to be up there. Like, seriously, if he's still with us, God rest his soul. Hopefully he is still with us. But if he isn't, all respect and condolences to the Carlisle family. I don't know. You may know, David. And David teaches bridge. And that's what he did. He had him as a client. And he was teaching him how to play better bridge because David is a professional bridge player. And he's very, very good. In fact, David Saborin, our regular on this channel, who is so benevolent today, is the fastest person in Canada to ever become a major champion in bridge. Like, seriously, he got the status of being like a certain level of bridge in his teen years. And some people work their whole entire life in playing bridge to get to that level that David got to very young and very quickly. In fact, in the history books. So I don't know if y'all knew this, that we got a bridge professional bridge player, one of the top ranked bridge players in the world, in David Saborin in our chat. I just want to let y'all know that. So he was teaching bridge to Rick Carlisle's dad at some point. That is really cool. That is so cool. David, you are a badass. You are a badass. That's why he's so competitive, because he's a bridge player, y'all. And he takes advantage of every opportunity and advantage that he can get as a bridge player. Trust me. Thank you, David. Bam. And Tristan saying our kryptonite has been 2-3 zone. Got to work on and make threes. I like that. We got to know how to bust the zone busters. Jimmy saying, got to stop being so stubborn, Lex, especially when the stats are there. Not to mention, we are 3 wins above Charlotte. If we were doing better, I would understand your defensive people. All right, I get it, Jimmy. In some ways, we're not going to totally agree on stuff. And he's saying, I don't hate Dennis. I want the best for the team always, always. We are the 11th seed, man. And that's what he said. He's upset about that. I don't know. Let's just put this on hold, Jimmy, and let it develop a little bit more. And if you're right, I'll concede. And I'll say, yeah, we got to take him out of the starting lineup. But if things start to get better and they're okay, then I hope you'll do the same the other way. So we're still on a fact-finding mission here, and we're still trying to figure out where we're at. And it could very well be that you're right and stuff like that. I don't want to be stubborn. I'm open to it. But I think that in some ways, the foundation of having a set starting lineup is smart. And in a lot of ways, I don't think that's what's broken. That's what Jakob said yesterday. He doesn't feel like it's the lineups that are their problem. It's just in general, bringing consistent energy and playing the right way consistently the whole 48 is the problem for the team right now. And in Jakob's eyes, he doesn't see it as a lineup issue. They asked him that specifically. They said, do you think there's a lineup issue that's going on with him? He's like, no. And from the inside, he says, I don't think it's a lineup issue. I think it's just that our guys are not coming with the right, correct energy in the right ways. So this is fine, Jimmy. We're going to note this right now. The whole issue about Dennis or Gary starting, and we'll go forward and we'll amend it as we are. I will show you I'm not so stubborn, depending on how things go. Now, I would hope you say, okay, you know what? I can live with Dennis starting if it is successful also going forward too. But if it isn't, I will say, yeah, Dennis needs to come off the bench like you're pushing right now. Tristan saying, Mugabe, laugh out loud. You're laughing at Mugabe. Let's see. Fiercely saying, I like that. Every quarter is the 4th. Yeah, let's do that. Let's lie to Scotty. Let's lie to him. And don't tell Malachi it's a pro-am. He'll travel and double dribble. No, tell him it is a pro-am because he drops 50 then. We want him to score. Tell him it's a pro-am. David's saying they should just toss that rule. Every single player in the NBA travels on every single possession when they have the ball 100% of the time. There are 0 plays a night without a travel involved. I'm not even sure which rule you're talking about. Fiercely saying, laugh out loud at Wayne, not smashing your wife. Damn, Pacers. Yeah, that was a little, that was a step too far. The comedy was there already, Wayne, and adding the smashing the wife at the end of it, that may have been too much. Jillian saying, someone remind me, please. Pascal sometimes refers to Lowry's, we can't lose this game to inspire him. That Dallas game around Christmas, that Dallas comeback, that amazing comeback where Kyle Lowry and the bench came back and beat them. Rondé Hollis Jefferson and Chris Boucher. And those guys came back and beat the Dallas Mavericks in that crazy game. That's what he's talking about. Yeah, that dog. And this is true. Any kind of way Kyle's words can echo in some of those older Raptors heads who were around him, that's good. That is good. Tristan saying definitely trade Siakam over OG. OG just put up similar numbers to Pascal and is younger and plays better defense. Yeah, either way, some ways it may not be up to us. I know that Indiana highly covets OG Anunoby. And it may be that they're not as interested in Siakam. I don't know. Once again, we're just talking hearsay. We're just talking this trade talk. We don't normally do this. And it really will be like what Bobby Masai may want to pull the trigger on. And it may also depend on what Indiana wants if we did do something with them. Fiercely saying, is it me or the stream sound is staticky? I don't know. It could be that my internet's a little wonky. I don't know. I get on here for so long. I really test the wear and tear of the inner tubes of the internet. My voice is going through so many chords right now. They're reverberating. I don't know what it is. David's saying staticky, not you. It seems to be better now. Yeah, I don't know what it is. Sometimes I get a little choppy. Like I'll go back and watch, and I sometimes wonder if it's like what I'm talking about at that moment. Like I may be talking about something political, and all of a sudden the screen just jumps, and I'm like, whoa, wait, they just cut something out that I just said or something. It may just be the internet connections kind of on and off at times. Let's see. Jillian saying, yes, OG and Pascal need consistency, but what people forget is everyone needs consistency. We'll get other players, and sometimes they may have off days too. The players that don't have few minutes. Yeah. I mean, it's a whole team consistency thing. In some ways, our coach needs to find more consistency with his rotations and his ideas and what he's doing so guys can kind of understand their roles and what to expect on a night-to-night basis. But then also, the consistency can be our enemy, as somebody has pointed out today, that also we get figured out and they know what the game plan is for us too easy. And that we may need to be more switching it up and more unorthodox and not so easy to guess. So I don't know. This is a tough thing, the battle for consistency, but also shaking it up so you're not so like predictable. I don't know. Carlos saying, yeah, that would be the only trade I wouldn't be mad at. You were interested. The trade I was saying doesn't sound that bad, honestly. We get a couple good players for one player. And in some ways, that's what we need. We need a little bit more quantity of good players, especially with the bench troubles this year. Let's see. Jillian's saying that, David, yep, static. You need a static. I don't want no static. Don't want to be starting no static. That's right. All right, let's keep going. You guys give me the cutoff. I appreciate that. All right, here, Monique's saying happy anniversary of the Rudy Gay trade. Yes, this is a great day, a day to celebrate Masai Ujiri's genius. The Rudy Gay trade, the catalyst of the great era of the Raptors in the last 10 years. 10 years ago, we traded Rudy Gay to the Sacramento Kings for John Salmons, Chuck Hayes, Patrick Patterson, and Grebas Vasquez. And that deal turned out to be the thing that turned the corner for our franchise. And we became a perennial playoff team with a bunch of years in a row of making the playoffs and also eventually won an NBA championship. Yeah, this is a day to celebrate. And thank you, Monique, for reminding us today is the 10-year anniversary of the Rudy Gay trade. A fantastic trade that Masai Ujiri made that was absolutely badass. And people should give him more respect for, honestly. Jillian's got the mask on. I'll tell you who will tell you to wear a mask right away is Shekinah Young, the wife of Thad Young. And apparently she has COVID again, and she's so sick of it. She doesn't want it. She's taking all the precautions in the world, but she's in airports a lot. She has to travel a lot because her kids play basketball in the United States and her husband plays basketball in Canada. So she's in the airports a lot. And she's always tweeting about how few people are wearing masks and how uncomfortable she is about it. And she also tells the stories of people shaming her for still wearing a mask at this point. That pisses me off. Because listen, everybody who's out there kind of looking down on people still wearing masks and say, what are you afraid of? You don't know these people's lives. They may have autoimmune deficiency disorders. They may have special health conditions. And that it's recommended by their medical doctor to wear those masks still. Just like disabled people may not be disabled in your eyes because they're not in a wheelchair or something like that. There are people that have disabilities that you cannot see, that aren't visible. And sometimes you discriminate against them because you can't see. Oh, what's wrong with you? There's nothing wrong with you. Somebody gets out of a car with a handicap thing and they say, well, you're nothing wrong with you. Why are you getting out there? You don't understand or know, and it's none of your business. So people need to stop judging people for taking precautions with their own lives in a pandemic. With a pandemic that is a problem for people with their health. So I would make that message for Shekinah Young on her behalf because she is struggling with COVID once again. And I think she's gotten it like 3 or 4 times since the pandemic started. And it's been hell for her. And she really doesn't like having it. And she wishes people were taking more precautions. Let's see. Wayne saying microphone. One-time comment on trade. 2 teams bench we should watch is OKC and the Pacers for games, for gems. I don't know who to give up. No idea. Sorry, Lex. I believe in the science and I wear masks, but Chris is right. That's interesting. Well, I never heard that report. And honestly, I don't think it's the right message. Seriously, I still don't think it's the right message. I think that there is good science that shows that if you're not espousing things and also things can come at you, the best way to do it is just stay home like what I'm doing. But a lot of people cannot have the luxury of doing that. They work in an office or they have to go somewhere for their job. I don't. I can just stay in my house all day and watch Raptors games, do the stream and do my work. And I don't have to go anywhere. I even get my groceries delivered to my house. So I don't have to do jack shit to leave the house. In fact, I haven't left the house in 2 weeks, I don't think. And that may sound crazy, but it also keeps me very healthy. And it also keeps me from possibly getting it and having any kind of long-term health issues. I mean, either way, if the mask is going to help or in some ways, whatever, I just don't like going in that direction. I think that people are not taking things as seriously as they should because it's kind of got out of the forefront, but it's still there. And in some ways, I don't want to, you can show me the scientific information that says that. But I also know that historically throughout pandemics at any age, people did this face coverings of some sort, and it was effective to some degree. So, I mean, it doesn't completely protect you, obviously, but it does give you a leg up to a degree. Fiercely saying David is the Raptor Freak Santa. I like that. Fiercely, you can get a dunk for that. That's pretty funny. David is at the mall and he's dressed as Santa and he has little kids sitting in his lap. And the little kid says something to him, I want a New York Knicks hat. Get off my knee. Kick. It's just like a Christmas Story. He has that slide. He pushes the kid it hits him in the face. He says, you shoot your eye out. Kick him down this slide. Raptor Freak Santa. Yeah, well, give me some fucking cookies then. Well, you got a dunk. How about that? I'll give you a dunk for being a Raptor Freak Santa. How about that, David? All right, Tristan saying he's not a Jedi yet. He's not a Jedi yet. He's close. He's real close. He's like Anakin when he's like really wanting, I am a Jedi. Master Kenobi, let me be a Jedi now. You're not ready yet, Anakin. Anakin, you're not. I am a Jedi. I'm a Jedi. This is a very good one. I hope he doesn't turn into Darth Vader. Seriously. Carlos saying, thank you, David. And Wayne saying, Jillian can take mine. Love her. There you go. See, I like this. I like the love between there, but you can't do that. I don't know. It's transferable. David's saying, yeah, we need to create an award for Jillian, the greatest new Raptor Freak of all time or something. Well, we had the Rookie of the Year award. She could win that next year, like at the end of the season. It could be that Shere Khan, Raptor Freak Rookie of the Year last year. Well, the next Roy could be Jillian. Let's see how her performance is for the rest of the season and see where we're at the end of the year with the end of the year awards. It could very well be she's the Rookie of the Year. We'll have to see. Tristan's laughing. David's saying these sticky pecan cinnamon rolls are a thing in North Carolina and South Carolina. Okay. Yeah, I know. Pecan, butter pecan, ice cream, Baskin Robbins. Fiercely saying, agree with Lex. Dennis will stay over 2 years and works well with Darko. I also see him as a future leader. It's funny how his trolling on the court annoyed me. Watching his vlogs changed my opinion. He's very careful about when he does his freeze at this point. Because in some ways he doesn't want to do it too early or be stupid because we lose. He does it, and then he's like, he's very careful about it. Yeah, he can be a troll, and he's definitely trolling people. Like he trolled Tyrese Halliburton at the end of the game when we beat the Pacers. He waved at him at the very end of the game when it expired, and we won by 1 because Halliburton was talking trash to our Raptors. And Dennis took the mantle of talking trash back to him in that game, and there was a lot of jawing back and forth. And at the very end of the game, Dennis trolled Tyrese Halliburton. He waved at him right at the end of the game. If you see the clip of Dennis trolling Tyrese after we beat the Pacers by 1 point, you will love him for it. You got to go watch that, Raptors fans. Who has not seen Dennis Schroeder trolling him? And then, of course, who does not like the nutmeg of Kevin Durant and the win over the Phoenix Suns? Come on, y'all. It's not every day you see somebody thread the needle through the legs of a Hall of Famer like Kevin Durant on that pass to Siakam in the transition basket. That was so beautiful. That's one of the most beautiful Raptors plays in a very recent time. Like, seriously, I put that up there with that Thad Young crossover, Joel Embiid fall on his face in the playoffs. That nutmeg to Kevin Durant, in some ways, that should have made Raptors fans love Dennis so much. Seeing him pass the ball between the legs of Kevin in transition. That was just a beautiful thing. Most saying, W Stream, Lex, keep at it as always. Good times, good times. Go Raptors, positive vibes only. Yes, Monique, thank you so much. Always a good leader in our Raptor Freak family. Fiercely saying she's got the starting lineup, it looks like. She got Pascal, Scotty, OG, Jakob, Dennis, Grady, Darko, Gary, and Precious. And there's Mo and me. Mo and me. Let's go tonight. That's right, Fiercey. And Wayne saying, not comparing. Turnovers cost us games. Our loss to Miami was costly turnovers. That's true. 8 turnovers to start the third quarter. Absolutely horrible. In fact, Darko said, I couldn't believe how they were finding different ways to turn the ball over so many different times. And it just seemed like a comedy show that we turned the ball over 8 times in the first part of the third quarter. We had 3 turnovers in the first half, and we doubled it and plus right away at the beginning of the third quarter. And there were really costly turnovers near the end. That Dennis turnover was a really bad one, for sure. for sure. Point guardship is vital, but it's not on Dennis. He needs a quality backup to alleviate his workload. Dennis is suitable. And Tristan thinks that's very true. I can't complain about this. We need another point guard. We need Malachi to get better, quickly. Carlos saying, all I want for Christmas is a consistent effort from the Raptors, regardless of wins and losses, and peace on earth. There you go. He's not asking for too much. He just wants peace on earth. Oh, I wish we could have that. That may be the best wish right there. Fiercely saying, wow, David, congrats on your accolades and represent. That's right. You guys, there's a lot of very talented people in our Raptor Freak family on the down low. And in some ways, the more I find out about you guys, the more I'm astounded about some of y'all's achievements and the people that you are in your lives and what you do. And yeah, David is a bona fide badass in the bridge game and very well known. He's the kind of person that people will play. Old people in other places will say, David, will you come and sit on the table and play with us? Because you'll help us get more points because you're a high level player and it will look good for our bridge rating. This is something that happens in bridge circles is if you have really good players, they're pros, they get hired to play with people to help them raise their ratings because they get a prestige from playing with them. So that's part of what David can do. Now, David told me he's transitioned from not being as much of an active bridge player himself. And he's actually, this is what he's in charge of now. David's in charge of officials for bridge tournaments around the world in different places. He's a part of the organization body that gets the officials ready for the events. So that's pretty cool. David's got a really interesting story with his life with bridge. And my parents love playing bridge. They play all the time. And it would be a real hoot for you to get to meet my mother, David. You guys could talk bridge for a long time. She's been a lifelong bridge player, and she loves that game so much that you guys would have a lot in common. And it'd be interesting to see you guys interact, honestly. And of course, she was best friends with Robert Todd's mother. And the bridge is very strong in my family too. It's really crazy. I don't play though myself. That's the weird thing. I never played myself though. It's like it's my mom's thing. I was like, I can't play because my mom's playing. Yeah, but I probably should have. I'd probably be really good at it. I'm a really good card player. I'm really good at spades, hearts, euchre, canasta. I'm not a good poker player, but I'm a very good like any of those kind of other games. In fact, I've won spades tournaments. I have won spades tournaments in my past when I was younger. I played in spades tournaments, but it's a different game than bridge. In some ways, it's similar, but not as high level. Not as high level. All right, let's see. You like the wish list that Tristan put out there? Carlo put out there, Tristan. I do too. Carlos saying, I just don't want to break this team up. So come on, team. Give us reasons to not break up the band. Yeah, I'm with that. Hopefully they can get consistent and the ugliness doesn't rear itself up all the time because that's part of the problem. We're seeing things that aren't clicking. If it keeps coming around like that, then we're going to have to make a change. David's saying at Fiercely, thank you. I've been very fortunate, worked hard, and had a lot of people helping me along the way as a young kid, similar to the NBA. Being Canadian is a disadvantage initially. That's very interesting to know that in the bridge world, there is a Canadian discount also, and maybe barriers to getting to higher levels in bridge. Partly, that's very interesting. David's saying, however, hard work and perseverance and drive get you a long way in this world. Anything is possible. Bam. Wow, David, that's very inspiring what you just said. That's like we're getting David's words of wisdom real quick. We got Trevor's at the beginning, and now we got David's. Wayne's saying, give us referees for tonight's games. We support our team in the quest for a win streak. Any amount will suffice. The refs tonight are crew chief Courtney Kirkland, Brent Bernecki, and Brandon Schwab. Both Courtney favors the Hornets somehow, some way. The Hornets have won 50% of their games with Courtney Kirkland, and meanwhile we have a lesser winning percentage with Courtney Kirkland. It's a big red flag. So the crew chief is not our friend. Bernecki and Schwab both favor us though, but not much. So this is a little dubious crew, but I think that if we just play hard and play well, we should beat them. But Courtney Kirkland is somebody to be watching, Wayne. Let's just put it that way. Fiercely saying nice. And David saying W stream and W tonight. Let's fucking go. That's right, David. David winning at life. That's right. So we want to get that winning going for the Raptors too today. And Tristan's laughing. And Jillian's saying thank you, guys. And thank you to Wayne. And David's saying all those games are very similar in concept, not as strategic, but generally if people can play those games, they have a prayer at bridge. You know, a lot of it is counting books and understanding. And then like kind of, I know from talking to my parents about the game that a lot of it has to do with kind of understanding like what you will do as a team synergy wise. And sometimes you have to have a connection with your partner and understand the way they bid to be successful at bridge. Now, one of the things my dad was telling me, because they play in a bridge club in Atlanta right now, that is that there's a lot of fakery in the bidding at this point. There's a lot of psyching out, and that some of the new age bridge is about like playing it kind of like poker and kind of lying about your bids and kind of doing screwy shit with that, David. I don't know. That's the new trend in bridge as far as like being really like kind of deceptive with your bids. That's what I was hearing from my dad. He said he's been playing with this Atlanta group lately, and that there's a lot of that going on, and they're not used to it. There's a lot more straightforward kind of bidding in old school bridge, apparently. I don't know. We're getting on a bridge topic today. That's very interesting. David's saying, you sound highly esteemed. Congrats. He is, trust me. And the way he carries himself, you wouldn't say like, oh, this guy's a bridge champion or is a great professional bridge player. But if he told you that, and then you're like, okay, now I can see it, because he is very intense. He's very competitive. And as he said, if you have the drive and the will, you can make a lot happen. And David is a very good example of that. All right, let's do the wrap up for today's. This has been a fun stream. All kinds of different subjects, all over the place today with stuff. All right, once again, the injuries for the Hornets are their starting center is right now, he's listed as questionable. He has a hurt back. Mark Williams may not be playing today. Otherwise, the Hornets are pretty healthy. LaMelo Ball is not here, of course. He's not playing right now. Toronto is only listing Koloko and Noel as before. I said it just now. Courtney Kirkland is the crew chief for tonight. He's not a good ref for the Raptors. Brent Barnecki, the lawyer, is the second ref, and young Brandon Schwab is the third ref. So hopefully they'll be fair, and we can get out there with a win. That's all I give a shit about, seriously. All right, and then let's see. What else do I need to talk about? Raptors 905 played yesterday. My 3 stars were Ja'Sean Page, Kevin O'Banner, and Kobe Simmons. We'll do the Raptors Instagram check real quick. We got Slim Duck. He's spitting some rhymes from some song, and it's like, tell me, is you still up? It's 5 a.m., and I'm drunk right now. Tell me, can we still F, that word? Is that a Drake song? I feel like that's a Drake song. And then Chris has got something going on from December 7th to the 11th. It's a friends and family event. 40% off Puma.com and NYC, 30% off in outlets. Use the code BoucherFriends. So he's got a discount for people that want to use that code, friends and family and fans. If they got that code, if you guys want to buy some Puma stuff, you can get a discount courtesy of Chris Boucher. Dennis has got a bunch of apparel on blast on his Instagram right now. He's got a That's Tough shirt with the ball going through the hoop. He's got a really nice hoodie there with an eagle on it that says That's Tough. He's got all kinds of interesting designs for his clothing. Dennis is definitely an entrepreneur. He's also putting on blast the Los Angeles Clippers, Daniel Tice, of course, his German teammate, signed by the Clippers recently, and he's calling him a world champ, wearing the world champ shirt on his way into the game the other day. Pascal is still promoting his spicy nugnet 20-pack with the McDonald's right now. That spicy bee sauce apparently is a barbecue sauce. So yeah, go see the spicy bee. It's a barbecue sauce, and it's a 20-pack McNuggets from McDonald's, and the limited time only in Ontario participating McDonald's. You can go buy some McDonald's in the name of Siakam. That's what I do. I go in there and say, give me the Siakam nuggets, and that's it. There is a contest right now, guys, that's going on. Show us what makes you a diehard fan for a chance to win meeting Scotty Barnes, and it's put on by Subway. And, I met Scotty Barnes. He's a really nice guy. I met him at a Subway event. But, yeah, if you guys want to do that, you got to go in and scan a QR code and do a couple things. You can win Raptors tickets also and meet Scotty Barnes. This contest the Raptors is doing with Subway Canada in the subcultures thing. Zach Eddy's got some new jerseys that have Canadian flags on it. And, I think that's pretty much the Raptors Instagram check there. Remember, Yahoo Fantasy stuff, go and check your team and make sure you set your lineup. All right, y'all. Thanks for watching me today. I appreciate everybody. We need to beat the Charlotte Hornets. If we have a loss tonight, tomorrow's stream's going to be weird. Let's just put it that way. I might get the puppet out and start talking to the puppet a lot because I'll feel deranged and crazy from the really bad stuff that's going on with the team. All right, let's see what else you guys are saying real quick. The last couple comments. Let's see. Cool Cat saying the root of the issue is there is a major disconnect between what front office and Coach Darko wants and what fans want. One day when the gap closes, there will be less angst. Yeah. Yes. When there's not total success, the people are crying out. They want certain things. The front office is doing what they're doing, and they got their own plan. They're not totally being open about what they're doing, and people are confused, and they're filling in the gaps with all kinds of confusion and saying that this team doesn't know what they're doing and all kinds of bullshit. So some of it's the press's fault. Some of it's the fans' impatience fault. And honestly, I'm with the coach and the front office, and I know that they're on the same page. And going forward, I want to be on the page with them. And I'm not going to be on the page with the press, their toxicness, and the Raptors fan nation that just doesn't get it. I'm going to go with our guys, the front office and the coach. And I'm on that side with them. And hopefully the gap will close and they'll come with us too. And they'll be with us too, Cool Cat, at some point. Jillian said, I met Jamal McGlure once. Laugh out loud. I barely came up to his chest. I'll tell you that he had a handler. She was very nice and took a photo of us. I look forward to meeting more Raptors. Yeah, Jamal McGlure is a Toronto man. He's here all the time. He's still involved with our team. He's a community person still, but he's not an assistant coach this year. I've seen Jamal out in public too. I was on the Danforth once in Greektown walking down the street, and he walked by me on the sidewalk. I couldn't miss him. The man's 7 foot tall. But I've heard he's a very nice guy. And that's awesome, Jillian, that you got to meet him. You know, you hang out in Toronto around August, the end of August, before training camp, you may run into Raptors just out roaming around on the streets. That is the best time of year to meet Raptors, is at the end of August, right before training camp in September. In September, a little bit then too. Yeah, that's when you might see a Raptor around. Like you might see Scotty at the drugstore, or you might run into Jakob Poeltl on the street. That's happened to me. I ran into Jakob Poeltl on the street once before. It's weird. It was cool. He's a really nice guy. Fiercely saying at Jillian, I sometimes chat in the Raptors group, and there is a Jillian who loves sending funny gifts. I wonder if you're the same person. So if so, I'm happy, and Raptor Freak family have a great addition. Yeah, I've seen Jillian in other places too, and she's a big fan. I see her in Raptors tonight, and I've seen her in a couple other spots too. David saying that's awesome to Jillian, and Jillian saying at Fiercely, no, not yet. Laugh out loud. Okay, so that's not maybe the same Jillian. All right, Fiercely. Thanks, y'all. It's 2.5 hours in. We're done. All right, let's do the main event marquee matchup. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Charlotte Hornets Arena. And for tonight's game, the Toronto Raptors visiting the Charlotte Hornets. Tonight's matchup will be a scrappy boxing match between the 2 point guards. In this corner from Braunschweig, Germany, we've got FIBA World Cup MVP Dennis Schroeder. And in the other corner for the other team, a man who's very scary. His name is Terry Rozier. Who's going to win this scrappy little boxing match between the two starting point guards, the Charlotte Hornets and the Toronto Raptors tonight in Charlotte? Let's go Raptors. Let's beat them. Please like, comment, subscribe, and share. And if you want to join as a member, just like David gifted a bunch of memberships, there is some privileges to being a member. I appreciate every single one of y'all. I'll see you guys at 9:30 tomorrow. And God willing, we'll be talking about a Raptors win. That's what I want. Let's go Raptors.